Welcome to the Gangcast, aka the Games and Not Games podcast. I'm Janet Garcia, and joining me as always is Isaiah Smith.
Hello.
Hello. Today we're going to be talking about puzzle games for the game section of the show and reading for not games. It's the big brain episode. We're not
for
dumb
some
anymore.
Of us.
You know, between the puzzle games and the reading, whoops, a smart podcast has entered your feed. Yeah. So, I don't know. Do you want to just get into it?
Yeah, we could just jump in.
We're just going to jump right in. Geronimo, this was in part inspired by our recent playing of Big Walk, which me and Isaiah have discussed off air on how puzzly is it, what kind of puzzle game is that game, and how might that impact people's, in a way, rating of it or whether or not they play it at all. And that got us talking about the different types of puzzle games that exist. So we're going to break down some of those categories today, as well as provide some recommendations within that. And we'll be approaching this as Isaiah being the puzzle person, and I am the self-proclaimed puzzle dumb, with one asterisk, which is that I'm find it like environmental puzzle games and maybe communication puzzle games, if that's a category. I don't know. Let's figure it out. So I guess for starters, like we do for most topics, what is your background with puzzle games, Isaiah? And, you know, to what degree do you consider yourself a puzzle person? I don't know.
A puzzle poppy?
Yeah, I guess I don't know if we want to steal Blessing's thing. I think if we say it enough,
why not?
It'll just be
He's
our thing. Yeah. To what degree are you puzzle poppy?
I have a pretty decent history with puzzle games. Always kind of been a fan of, anything from like Tetris as like a wee lad, a literal child, through was it Sokoban? I can never pronounce it right, I think. The like box pushing puzzles, or like any crosswordy kind of Sudokus and Minesweeper, and up to more like modern puzzle platformers, or The Witness is like always one of my favorite games that I'll try and put on any list that I can. These and that slowly started to morph. Now we're getting, as like a gaming community, more into like what dubbed the Metroidvania, right? Where like that's kind of the new hot sub puzzle genre that's popping up, where it's like, oh, the game is it's been here the whole time. It's just how you do you have the information to solve the puzzle, but like there's no mechanically new thing you need to unlock or ability you need to get. You just have to get the knowledge of how to solve the puzzle, and that's kind of been like I said, a ever growing genre in the puzzle community. But even outside of that, there's deductive puzzling. The like Ace Attorneys have always kind of been like a little bit more like reasoning and like not really social deduction, because like they're single player games. You're not deducing someone else in the room with you. You know what I mean? But like they're the logical deduction games, the Return of the Oberdins, the Incident at Galley House, Her Story of like reading people and trying to figure out like clues and pulling at strings and things like that. So I've played a lot, a wide variety of puzzle games. Generally, I love them all. They're all pretty good. I can give you a good puzzle game in almost any genre that you might be interested in. It just might be various degrees of good depending on what you want out of the puzzle game. But I'm also not like the puzzle expert, right? Like I have not played everything. I only like just recently did like Her Story, for example, and I actually didn't like it, which I'm sure we might talk more about. We might not.
Art. I understand.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, so I haven't played The Root Trees Are Dead. I want to play that. There's some like recent hits that I definitely want to try more of and play more of and dive deeper into. But as a whole, big puzzle fan, big puzzle poppy. I give myself that title, but I'm far from like puzzle perfect, you know.
What if any, is there a type of puzzle game that you haven't played? Like a kind of puzzle subgenre that you have? Because you mentioned like, oh, I haven't played all of them. And obviously, most people haven't played every game within like a category, right? I get what you mean though.
Yeah.
Like some of the big hits you are missing.
Yeah.
But yeah, is there a type that you don't play?
I guess like I have far less experience in like the more narrative puzzle games. Like the Galley House, I think, is a great example of like a very narrative driven puzzle game where like you are consuming a narrative given to you, and your job is to pull information out of that narrative to further advance your puzzle solving. There are other deductive puzzle games that I think don't fall into that narrative category, but are close, right? You know, I think there are also very like narrative driven games that are not puzzle games, but they have like puzzle elements. There's a lot of games have puzzle elements, right? Like a lot of action adventure game, you know, Uncharted has puzzles in it. That doesn't make it a puzzle game. But like, I am historically not a very like huge narrative driven person, so the narrative puzzle games are a little bit on the shy side for me. But I want to.
Which is probably why you didn't like Her Story, I suppose.
Probably, yeah. If I had to guess, that'd be
because you are piecing the stuff. Yeah, Her Story. For those that don't know, it's like you are given a computer, and then you can like search up different keywords, and you're looking at footage from a like police cross-examination. Well, not cross-examination. That's not the right word because it's only for court. But you know, they're talking to the.
It's like an interview, kind of.
A suspect, yeah, an interview with a suspect, and you're trying to figure out like what happened or why it happened or something. It was a long time since I've played it. Yeah, I liked it, but when you were like, "Am I done playing it?" and like I kind of got the vibe off of like, I was like, I don't think he liked it, but like because it doesn't really have a more traditional ending. Like the game is sort of like it does kind of cue you, like it gives you the option of like, do you think you're done? And it's up to you to decide if you think you're done. You don't really get the resolution of the, you know, of the 2-3 theories you have. This is the one that's correct. Like you kind of just get to have it on your own. I still really enjoyed that game because I liked. There's a debate on what happened in that story, but like I enjoyed the revelations I got as I was looking into it. Mm-hmm. And that's why I like the game. But, yeah, for me, I am on pretty much the opposite end of the spectrum. I did play Tetris growing up. I struggled to figure out what the name for that category of puzzle game is. Maybe we can come up with a working title today.
Like
I think of those
puzzle game, right?
Is it though? But like, what would Sudoku be when it's video gameized?
I think Sudoku is a type of game, like.
Because it's totally.
It is.
Because my thing is.
I think it's its own genre.
Okay, well, what about Picross? Same deal. Like they're just all their own genre. Picross is a little bit of an argument for because there's non-Picross games. Like games that use that puzzle, but like there was that one of Murder by Numbers. Like I don't think. Well, because there's a name for the type of puzzle Picross is. That's like irrespective of. Picross. Geez, I know people are screaming. It's called blah blah.
Well, I feel like they're all almost the same. Like they're all under the same umbrella. They're okay.
Picross
sure.
is a nonogram, I believe. Yeah. Which is looking at it. Look at the Wikipedia. Nonograms, also known as, I'm gonna butcher this, Hanji, paint by numbers, gridlers, picks, and Picross. Are picture logic puzzles in which cells in a grid must be colored or left blank according to numbers at the edges of the grid to reveal a hidden picture. So is your little weirdo game a nonogram game? The weird big picture proverbs? Yes, that's what it's called.
Yeah. Yes, I think.
It's more like Minesweeper, I guess, right? You said?
I put Minesweeper, I put Picross, I put Sudoku, all in the same category of puzzle game where it's grid based, it's logic based, and it's about filling the grid using logic. Like, to me, that is the definition of that category. It does not. If we want to give that, if we want to lump that all under the nonogram, sure. But to me, I don't know what the label is. I just know that to me, they're all kind of like the same genre.
Do you think Wordle is in that? Because it's like, it's not a grid, but it's like you're filling in squares, and squares next to each other, I guess, are a grid. Like, it presents as a grid.
I think Wordle is a bit more of a like spelling game. Like, I don't know. I don't think Wordle's a puzzle game. I think there's puzzle elements to it, sure, but like
are
Wordle and Scrabble are like. I think they can be. Like, there's a crossword, for example, is less of a puzzle game to me. It's more of a word game activity. I feel like Wordle is a word game activity more than a puzzle, because there's not like clues as to like there's feedback. There's not a logic to you getting it, but there's no like logical reasoning that you can use to definitively get the right answer. You have to like, there's inherently a bit of trial and error or luck to it that, to me, pulls it out of that puzzle, that raw puzzle, pure puzzle category. Again, puzzle elements to it in that like you're guessing and you can lose, right? But a little bit different.
In that you have to use your mind, I guess, but it's not really. Yeah, I guess there may be a separate word game, because that's the other thing. I like and am fairly good at word games. Not all word games. I'm not very good at Scrabble. I don't believe in Scrabble in general. The idea of some words are worth more because they have fucked up letters in them. Fuck you. Like, it's just, I don't know. I feel like Scrabble becomes a game of memorize the best words for high points, and I feel like it's not about, I feel like it's a math game with letters. Instead of a word game. Like, I like the word element of the word game. Also, I'm bad at it, so you could say it's Kobo, but I think they're kind of intertwined.
You know what it is? Okay. I think the fact that you need external information to solve it makes it not a puzzle game. I feel like a puzzle,
it's more like a trivia game. Like a trivia game isn't a puzzle game.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
that's a perfect way to put it.
Yeah, because there is like an element of like I'm using my smarts, but it's not like there isn't like an additional like, reasoning or bit to it. Yeah, so I'll put that.
Puzzle should be self-contained. Definitely.
Well, I mean, a lot of puzzles aren't self-contained though, because they do involve you knowing. It's hard to like
self-contained.
Like you existing on Earth. Yeah, like I don't know.
The puzzle itself, not in like the universe. You know,
because there are
like
puzzles,
a puzzle needs to give you everything
on,
you need to solve it.
Sure, but I feel like there are puzzles that require outside information. Like, oh, you need to understand an element of like astrology or geography.
I think the game needs, in this case, a game would need to give you that information in game, and they usually probably do. They give you like some book or some poster or something for you to find. You know, if we're thinking like blueprints or something.
Like the periodic table or some shit.
They give you the periodic table,
what salt is or whatever. Even though salt's easy, but it's the first one it's the first thing I could think of.
Yeah.
But yeah. Okay.
So it's a cousin.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Okay. So we still need to come up with a working name for this. We'll swing back to come up with our own names. This will be the definitive puzzle genre list. Some grid shit is what we have so far for like what's under some grid shit. Tetris, nonograms, Sudoku, all the other grid shit. And I've been wondering what. Oh, you think no?
Strangely enough, I don't know if Tetris would fall under. Like, I don't think Tetris is the sibling to nonograms or Sudoku or Picross, because it's not logic based. Like, you can't deduce there's no solution to Tetris. It's like survival. You know what I mean? Like, it's like a different. Maybe Tetris isn't a puzzle game. Maybe it's just a game with puzzle elements in that, like, you're fitting the pieces together.
I never really thought of it as a puzzle game in a way, but it is kind of a puzzle game.
It's puzzle elements.
To me, I think about like, and I've never been able to come up with a word for this either, but games where when you step to them, you're immediately staring at the puzzle versus, like, I think a lot of puzzle games, they're a little bit more abstracted. Like, you're in a, especially because they're video games, so it's like, oh, you're in, like, an environmental space. You're, like, exploring and looking around for clues. You're, you know, searching the video files. You're trying to put things in order. You know, there's, like, a more mechanical element versus games that you step to and you're immediately in the puzzle. So that's why I think of, like, Picross, and I think of Tetris in the same way. Doesn't have to be the end-all be-all, but on Wikipedia they do label it as a puzzle video game. Because if it's not, also if it's not a puzzle, what is it? I guess is the challenge.
I mean, there's like, I feel like it's very easy to have a mode of Tetris where it is the puzzle, where it's like clear the board, like there's a definitive end to that.
I mean, I think that is it, right? Because I'm looking at, so also on r/gaming 5 years ago post, someone said, "What genre is Tetris?" Let me be more clear. What is the genre of games that are 2D and score or versus based that usually involve colored stuff, which is so funny. Let me give you some examples. Tetris, Puyo Puyo, Dr. Mario, Yoshi, Puzzle Quest, blah, 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 blah. Usually these games are tagged as puzzle or casual or both. And then someone says, Tetris is Tetris. It just is.
I feel like it's almost more of an
Candy
organizational puzzle game. I can see that, like an organizational puzzle game.
I see what you mean, though, because, like, you kind of, like, you sit with, like, a Picross or a Sudoku, and, like, you have unlimited time. Like, there's something to be said about, like, time pressure games that also are different, because it's, like, the stuff's like, you have to kind of do it now. Same with, what's that other game that I'm bad at? But I'm like, that was fun, but I sucked at it. Luminous? Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if you necessarily need time-based. Like, I think, you know, what is it? Threes or 2048 are not time-based, but to me, those are very much the same vein as a Tetris, where it's like, it's about how well can you organize the things given to you, you know? You can back yourself into a corner.
Well, at what point does that change, though, the organization? Because I think of, and this might not be the best example, because I don't know that either of us have played this game, but was it Wilmer's Warehouse or something? What's the name of that game?
Oh, I know of it. I haven't played
Wilmot's Warehouse. It's like you're moving stuff around that. I guess let's use one that maybe we know more. Dogpile.
Sure.
But again, that's kind of a, like, so obviously that's using roguelike.
It's an organizational game.
Yeah, so the Dogpile, Suika, and Pancito Merge are, like, I mean, that genre is kind of not super decided on for the name. Like, some people just call those Suika games because Suika is the most popular one. I call them merge games. Some people call them a form of match 3.
Sure.
Which I don't know match 3 as well as I could. So, yeah, I mean, are they all kind of, like, subdivisions, though, of some grid shit? And we have, like, you know, parents within that, or subdivisions. Like, within the grid stuff, there's, like, maybe Tetris is its own thing, and it kind of, because it has, like, there's Tetris, there's Dr. Mario, there's, like, the one that person mentioned, that Puyo Puyo Tetris. Like, maybe it is kind of just its own thing, in a way.
I see, like, maybe not just some grid shit. Maybe instead it's more like logic grid shit. And then Tetris would be something else.
Like
because what's that old, like, XBLA game, I think it was, where it's like you're like a stone frog and you're like shooting the orbs into the row, and it's a 3 in a row Connect 3 kind of game.
Frog shoot.
Man,
of course Frogger comes up, which is really funny, but Zuma?
Oh, I think it might have been Zuma.
Can you look it up?
Yeah. Zuma. Yeah. Like, Zuma.
Also a beach.
This is an organizational game. This is a Connect 3 kind of tile matching puzzle game, right? It is not visually on a grid at all. It's in a line. It's actually like the opposite of a grid, but it's like a 2-dimensional line. So it maybe is kind of arguably a grid. I think,
and you would put Tetris within that.
I would put Tetris with this. I would put like Bloons in this organizational puzzle game.
Does Suika
like
go in there?
tower defense games,
like match 3 games go in there to you?
Suika
And like Candy Crush and stuff. Like so Suika's a merge game. It's like Pancito Merge.
Okay.
Which Suika's the one that really blew up, so that's why I say Suika. I actually never played Suika, which is funny because I've played other merge games, just not like the merge game.
Oh yeah.
I call them merge games because I think that's more accurate to what the gameplay is. A lot of times on Steam, they're tagged as match 3, and then anecdotally, about a lot of people just say Suika game. It's like the Suika game. But they're, for people that don't know any of those games, they're games where you have, when you have 2 of the same item, they combine to make a new higher grade item. So like in Pancito Merge, I forget how the pastries work. It's like a pastry version of that, Mexican pastry version of that. So it'll be like, oh, when you have 2 conchas, it makes like the pig cookie thing. I forgot the names of those sweets, so apologies on that, whatever. Or like, oh, 2 muffins make a cupcake or whatever, and then 2 cupcakes make like the next thing. And in Dogpile, same deal. You have like 2 chihuahuas make like a dachshund or something. Again, not the order of the dogs, but and then the goal in Pancito Merge is the goal is always to get the biggest thing. So in Pancito Merge, it's whatever the highest grade pastry is, which I forget what that is. In Dogpile, it's the biggest dog. It's at Suika. I'm guessing they label the fruits in a certain way or whatever. So you would put all of those still underneath organization puzzle, or are we on like a new thing that's like match 3/merge, where we have like
no?
Candy
I think
Crush
those are
and
all
stuff?
organizational. Like I think those all use the same skill set of like
put lining stuff up to make stuff happen.
Yes.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. I could live with that. I guess for the sake of people of conceptualizing things, most people do still label those that, but then I would say it's a more specific take on the organization game. Now, does organizational puzzle include stuff like a little to the left because you're organizing, or is this more like there has to be maybe like a score?
I think that is
maybe like scored organization puzzle. Because all these are scored, though, right?
I think they are, but that's more of like a mode in the genre of like a implementation of the puzzle. It could be time based, it could be score based. Like I think it could be just like finish based, like a state based kind of thing. Like I think those are all, the same game. Is just you're just moving.
Like there
the
has to
flag
be some
for
type
what's the end goal.
There's some level of like implied or potential like limitlessness as well, because some of these games don't have like a there's not a win state really. There's just like how good can you do versus like
I think they can. Like I think
I know but some of them don't have it versus like a little to the left it's like you're just doing a puzzle and then you go on. Like it's not like you just happen to be organizing.
I see.
But it's not an organization
maybe
puzzle.
A little to the left is kind of more like pattern recognition. A little to the left, maybe like, is this seat taken? Is
seat's taken?
A little bit of logic, like.
But I mean, pattern recognition is a form of because they're all logic, which as you're typing in. One thing that also spurred this conversation was I was talking to Isaiah about environmental puzzles, and I'm like. And he's like, I don't know. You were saying those are logic puzzles, and I'm like, well, what makes it like a box pushing puzzle is an environmental or logic? So then I put it on my BlueSKy, and everyone said it was logic. But then I realized I think everyone's saying it's logic. Like I of course still think I'm right because I'm me and I have my own mind. But I'm like every puzzle has logic because you're thinking. So like I just feel like I think a box pushing puzzle is environmental because to me an environmental puzzle is you are manipulating your environment in order to solve it. And it's like with an emphasis on the environment manipulation. Because technically, again, you could say, well, a little to the left, I am moving a pen. So is that environmental? But I think it's like, you got your hands in the dough. Like you're manipulating an environment to make it go like ka-ching. You put the blocks on the steps and then, you're doing... Often with multiple steps, I would say, is, another hallmark of it. Well, like a little to the left, it's like once you're done, you're done. There's not like... Oh, and when I put the pencils in order... another box of pencils opens up. I mean, I didn't finish it, so maybe it does, but
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. So I like how this also let us just skip over Metroidvania, which is its own thing. How do you feel about that genre as puzzle poppy over here?
Yeah,
right.
I like it.
think so. I think it is. It is kind of gross, and it's a bit bastardized, but most stuff is. And I do think it. I think until we have a better name, like a classier name, that is the name, because those games do have a commonality. And the word for now is serving its purpose, which is when I say this word, do you know what I'm talking about? And the answer is yes. Like, even if you hate the term Metroidvania, it does serve a function. Now, I wish we had a better term, because I do think it's like, again, we're taking like, I don't know, we're taking stuff and just kind of mixing and matching it. And I think it is kind of making it, it's a bit muddy. But in defense of the term, it fills a gap that's needed, which is how can we lump all these games together so that when we're talking about Grun and Outer Wilds and, God, what are the other Metroidvanias that people point to? It feels like there's a lot, but now I can't think of any other ones, but, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, if others come to mind, shout them out. But I'm sure I could just Google best Metroidvanias and I'd find 12 immediately that I just forgot about.
I think like Chance of Sonars is one.
Yeah.
Where like to me it's basically like any sort of like building puzzle game or like any open-ish puzzle game that the only thing stopping you from solving it is your own knowledge of how the puzzles work kind of idea.
But it's not even how the puzzles work. Like in Chance of Sonar, though, it's not like the I think the sticking point with the whole Metroidvania thing in a way is it's true that these games all feel similar. Like they have like a similar, oh, now that I know, I go back here and I use the knowledge the way that you would say, oh, now that I have the green key or now that I have the double jump, I'm going to go back to the double jump spot. So I understand why
like knowledge
the Metroidvania
progression.
Gets yes, I understand why the Metroidvania gets evoked for that reason, but my beef is that like in Outer Wild, like in most games, if you knew the answer, couldn't you do the, you know what I mean? Like how is that different than most games though? Like if I knew how to do it, I could do it.
Well, it can't be like level based one. It needs to be like,
because like if I knew all the answers to like, you know, Lorelei and the laser eyes, I could also beat the game, but I don't know the answers. And that's me playing the game. So how is it different? Which to be clear, I agree
Lorelei
that it is
is
different, but I'm trying to that is a Metroidvania.
I say that's okay. A Metroidvania. Yeah. I think it is. It falls in that category of like, if you,
I mean, is
Blueprints
a Metroidvania?
Is another one.
Is it? I think that's just like a roguelike puzzle game.
I mean, it's roguelike, but I think there's Metroidvania elements to it where it's like you don't need to you know, it is gated by knowledge and tools. So like the tools part, you could argue, I can see an argument for why it's not a Metroidvania, because you need more than just your brain. But like there are totally elements in that game where it's like, if I just know that I need to go to this door and knock 3 times in order to open this passageway, I could just do that from the beginning. I don't have to pull a certain room or do a certain thing. Like there are elements to that game that are just open to you. It's a matter of knowing that they're open to you. Like with the right knowledge,
I guess that's also where
of
I
how
kind
things
of
work. You could your first day there, you could hit room 46. Like that's totally possible. It's chance based, but
I also feel like, I guess that's where, and I get that, like, I mean, that's why mixing genre terms gets messy, because in a Metroidvania, you can't, like, if I knew, like, I beat Prince of Persia, you beat Prince of Persia. We can't now just beat, if we started Prince of Persia over, it's not like we could finish it in, like, 2 minutes.
No.
It's like, I still need the double jump. Like, you actually need like, versus here, you don't, and I guess that's why, like, oh, the item's the knowledge, but then it's hard not to feel like that's dumb. So I do understand why people get upset, because it does feel a little dumb. Like, what do you mean the knowledge is the double jump? It's not, though.
But it kind of, you know.
I also feel like with Chance of Sonar, I don't know, because it's like, so that game, for those who don't know, is you enter different, like, let's call them towns, for lack of a better term, like areas with different people, and everyone has a different language. It's the Tower of Babel, is what Chains of Sonara is. I don't, like, I get what you mean, because it's like, if I knew that I needed to say flim flam shim sham to the guard, I could just go and then go to level 2. But, like, isn't that true for, like, I don't know, like, that doesn't feel that different, though, than, like, playing any other puzzle. Like, yeah, solving the puzzles, knowing the answers to the puzzles makes the puzzle game go quicker. Like, that feels like that's true for every fucking puzzle game, except for, I guess, the organizational puzzles we talked, the grid shit.
Looking back at the trailer really quick for Chains of Sonara, it maybe actually isn't a Metroidvania, because I'm flaky on the actual remembering of the gameplay mechanics, in that I don't know if you need to find the symbols in order to even decipher them, or if you can totally progress without in-book, like in-game deciphering anything.
Which in the Steam, I do think they potentially nail their subgenre, which is puzzle adventure game.
Yeah, this might be more that deductive reasoning, looking at it again.
Okay. I'm going to move this over then. See, we both have it highlighted, but...
sorry.
And I'm going to write adventure next to it. I don't know if there's a lot of... I'm sure people are, like, screaming at home. There's so many... How many puzzle adventure games there are? I guess, like, where do you put stuff like... I don't know. There's kind of like the walking sim puzzle game, but it's like most puzzles you're walking around. You're like, that's like not really a thing.
Home kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, I guess. I mean, Gone Home is definitely like. It has some. Well, Gone Home is like a walking sim that has puzzles in it, I think, than a puzzle game.
Sure.
I think.
Yeah.
So, but I guess I'm thinking more of like Myst, but also I don't know Myst at all. Really, I just know that Myst is Myst.
That's one of my gaps. I own it. I haven't played it yet.
Which I know it's like the foundational text or whatever, but
yeah,
that's labeled. The tags are like adventure and exploration and all of that. So, yeah, I guess that's the thing with the Metroidvania too. Like, do we even need it? Could these just be like adventure exploration puzzle games? Like, is Metroidvania really? Did we already have the answer, and now we just added Metroidvania into the mix to be trendy? Question mark.
I don't think so.
Like, what's the difference between a Metroidvania and an adventure puzzle game?
I think
it's just the ability to do it all at the end. But again, that has nothing to do with Metroid. You can't just beat Metroid once you've beaten Metroid, because you do need to do the steps. So it does feel like now I've turned on it again.
Metroid in that you're building on, like, you're building on to the skill set you have over the course of the game to ultimately beat it. In this case, that skill set is just your knowledge, which is where the Brainia comes in.
Yeah, but like, isn't that always the case? And like, if you knew how to finish a puzzle game, you could finish all of them pretty fast if you just put in the answers.
Not necessarily.
Like, yeah, I don't have to think, so I can just go.
Well, it's again like a level. I don't think there's a level based puzzle game that can be a Metroidvania. I think you need to have access to the end game from the beginning of the game.
But even like,
just don't have the knowledge to reach it.
Gone Home, and maybe I'm misremembering, it's all about getting in the attic, which I think is just putting like a code or something in, isn't it?
Not even that. It's just knowing where to click in the house. It's like just knowing where to
go,
like, I think.
Like, by that logic, can't that just be a Metroidvania? Because it's like, I just need to learn where to click in the house, and then I could finish it at the end. Because like, my argument is most puzzle games, or a lot of, if you're walking around, if you knew the answer, you could beat it immediately. But
there's no building on anything there. So I don't think I wouldn't call it a Metroidvania. I wouldn't even call it a puzzle game. It's like...
No, I wouldn't either, but
I'm just... It's an adventure, narrative game.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. All right, so we have those, but I'm still dissatisfied with them a little bit. Because I think the genre needs a little bit of work, because it's a little... And that's the problem with the... Because then you end up getting kind of distracted by the Metroidiness, and if it's... like, I think we just need maybe a new label, but... Okay, so we have those games. Environmental puzzle, the conversation that started the episode in a way, that inspired the episode. to me, this is when you're manipulating stuff in an environment, and that's the large component of the puzzle. To the point where it's like you could kind of... It's easier to brute force these puzzles because you can just get your hands in the dough and try stuff and see how it works. Like, you could... It's better to think ahead in an environmental puzzle game, but you could also just start pulling on stuff a little bit and see how it works instead of more carefully thinking how it works. So I would put games like... I would put Portal, personally, as an environmental puzzle game. How does that feel for you? And how does that make you feel?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that is... I agree with you that Portal is an environmental puzzle game. I disagree on the reasoning why. Like, my definition for environmental... to me, it's more a puzzle game that is solved by your perspective as the player. Like, you cannot beat the game in another perspective. So like, yeah, like Superliminal, Maquette. Like, to me, those are environmental puzzle games because it's not just you manipulating the environment. In a lot of games, you manipulate the environment.
Well, to me, that's like a sub-element, though, of the environment. Like, there's ones that are about perspectives. But to me, that's like Coke with lime. Like, to me, it's all still Coke, though. It's like, oh, that's just cherry Coke.
I guess to me, it's a little bit more of like how you can have gameplay that is 2D, but in a game where the assets are 3D. I label though like I guess Little Big Planet isn't right anymore because it does have like those 3 layers of depth to it. But like for a new Street Fighter or something like that, right? Or like, you know, any of the modern kind of like fighting games and stuff like that, where it's just a Mortal Kombat kind of thing, where it's just you're on a singular plane. You go left, right. You can go up, down. You can't go back and forth. The gameplay is on a 2-dimensional plane. To me, that is a 2D game that is just rendered in 3D. I say that the environmental puzzles that you're saying, or your reasoning for environmental puzzles, is like, yes, it's rendered in 3D, but it's not. The gameplay is not. It's rendered in environmental puzzle, but the gameplay is not environmental puzzle to me.
So, I mean, what do you call stuff where you're moving stuff? Is that's just like...
I think those are more logic grids. I say logic grids. Like the the
Cocoon is the one that I'm thinking of a lot, and Arranger.
Cocoon is weird because it's like a logic grid that's just not on a grid. Maybe it's a little bit of reasoning, not necessarily deductive reasoning, but like I'm not opposed to it being on environmental puzzle because that is
what's interesting and what's damning for my own point
puzzle
is when I'm looking up environmental puzzle games, there ain't a lot coming up. Do environmental puzzle games not exist? The genre I'm good at doesn't exist? What's going on here? But the thing I did find is that, and Steam tags are very imperfect, so this is not me saying it's the end all be all, just different things to think about. Cocoon gets labeled as adventure puzzle exploration, and especially with Chance of Sonar being also labeled adventure. Are Cocoon and Chance of Sonar just adventure puzzle games?
I can see the argument for Chance of Sonar. Cocoon, I think there is. I think even Chance of Sonar has like a bit of deductive reasoning that you need in order to like move forward and progress.
Well, mind you, adventure is always like going to be a big bubble because it's pretty vague. Mm-hmm. So I'm kind of proposing, is there like a big thing that says adventure puzzle games, and underneath that there's maybe the Metroidvania, which is I think is a type of adventure puzzle game. Chance of Sonar, which is an adventure puzzle game that uses deductive reasoning, and then Cocoon, which is an adventure puzzle game That looks pretty. I don't really know what its other flavors are. Yeah. Because to me, those are always environmental puzzle games. But if you're like, and it's not like, oh, you're saying it's not, so now it's not. But as I start to dig, not really seeing anything in my corner for this. Like, I always consider those to be environmental puzzle games because I'm manipulating my environment. But I guess I am also adventuring. Because, like, looking at, like, Inside, for instance, and granted, Inside also sometimes gets the puzzle platformer category because you jump a little bit. I would actually argue Inside is, I mean, it's a little bit of a puzzle platformer, but I think it's more of a, to me, I thought it was an environmental puzzle game. I guess it's not. Like, so, and now I'm also trying to see, I think maybe the puzzle games I'm good at are just some adventure puzzle games.
What if instead of environmental puzzle, we call it like spatial reasoning puzzles? Because then I think that makes it a little bit more palpable for like putting these things that don't feel exactly like they belong in. But
I think spatial reasoning is even more like, well, let's think about what kind of stuff you're being asked to do in a game like Inside. I feel like in Inside and Limbo, and probably to a
Inside
Cocoon,
to me doesn't Inside and Limbo I feel like are different than Cocoon in that Inside and Limbo there's no logic to the solutions. There's reasoning and justification that they give you in the game.
I mean, there's no logic.
But like it's almost like a Monkey Island. Like they could go full Monkey Island with it, and it would not feel
logic.
any different.
It's just fuck you logic. Like fuck you logic.
That to me isn't logic. That's not logic. It's illogical.
I would say it's a sub element that's like I think it sometimes implores cartoon-y logic, but I think it's still logic. It's just like maybe unfair. And also, oh, you're mad? Guess how I feel playing every other fucking puzzle game, bitch. So grow up. Oh, a puzzle poppy gets stuck because he didn't realize that if he popped the balloon, the car would cross the street. Because why would that be guess what, bitch? That's called point and click. I think that's which we haven't gotten to really. But point and click puzzle games are notorious for abstract reasoning and like fuck you logic, but it is still a logic. It's just dumb, maybe. And sometimes it's not dumb. Like some games I think lean more into that. The game that I like that not problematic in terms of being like sociologically problematic, just like the game was a little muddy. What is it called? Mr. Coup something puzzle game. That game was like completely based on cartoon logic, but the many pieces of Mr. Coup. But that worked really well in that because like also that was established really early. Like I think sometimes Inside implores elements of that without giving too much away because it's a very short game. Like there's stuff like pull the maggot out of the pig and then that makes the pig run and then, you can continue forward.
Yeah, I think if you give a mouse a cookie ass reasoning.
But I think that's totally logical in the game because it's a game that's very quickly setting you up to be gritty, bizarre, and gross. And also, it's I think a big part of games like that are showing you the player, here are the buttons, like here are the verb buttons you have, which one of those things in Inside is like grab, pull, push. How can you grab, pull, push your way to get out of here? So part of what I think the expectation is that you will be grabbing, pulling, and pushing on whatever in your environment you can. And I think if you didn't know that, that's kind of on you. Like, I feel like you should know to pull the worm out of the pig because you can.
To me, they're more like I forget what the actual term is. And I'm not saying that Limbo and Inside are exactly this, but to me, they're closer to this than, a Chance of Sonar or something else. It's like the pixel hunt kind of games where it's like your goal, like to solve the puzzle, you just have to click at a certain spot or do a certain thing that is like you just need to hunt for where the button is that lets you move forward. It is not I cannot look at it and reason my way through the room. It's okay, I got to figure out like, okay, if I pull this, then yeah, I get the maggot, and then that makes the pig squeal, and he runs, and then he knocks over this board that I can then climb up. Like this mousetrap ass solution to a puzzle is not to me a logical reasoning solution. It is a adventurous, experimental, nonsensical at times, like, oh yeah, you did the thing, you hit the go forward button kind of thing. You have to find the go forward button. That's the puzzle.
Well, it's like a combination. Sometimes the answer is yes, but like you're also chaining together usually like things that you can do. So it's like it's about looking at a space and realizing, oh, I can climb up the ladder, so then I can get to the sandbag, and then I can push the sandbag, and that'll have it's a lot of like domino affecting in there as well. Like again, they're very casual, like small brain games. Like, and again, that doesn't mean you're small minded if you play them, but I think there are games where it's like there are still puzzle games, but they are much less cerebral because they allow for trial and error instead of just reasoning. Like, you can think ahead and be better at solving them. Like, you will be more efficient. Like, if you are a more logic plan ahead player, you will maybe beat inside faster because you'll be able to assess the space and move more efficiently. While like, or even just like a super old game, but I played Chip's Challenge for Min-Max, which is like an old ass like PC game. Mm-hmm. And that game it's like a little puzzle game. It's a top-down, I'll just pull on the Wikipedia, top-down tile-based puzzle video game. And one of the things that you have in that game, which you have in a lot of games, is there's a puzzle really early on where you can zip to different like little platforms, and it's like, you can only go up, down, left, right, and like you need the platforms to kind of catch you on your way because you like just zip across the space between the main blocks, and your goal in that is to get to the space where you can exit. It's like, oh, to exit you got to be on the bottom-most square, so now you have to figure out how to get to the bottom-most square. And there are all spots you can go where you'd kill yourself by accident, and then ooh, you failed. I can solve that on my own, but I usually just solve it through trial and error because I forget what I need to do because I'm not good at that. Jeffem, who's better at games like that, was basically just like, okay, Jeffem, you tell me where to go because you can like see ahead and think like A, B, C, D, and I'm more like I need to be hands-on with stuff. I'm not good at, in my mind's eye, seeing ahead. So anyway, to bring it back to the ultimate task, which is like categorizing these, how do you feel about adventure and exploration puzzle game as a genre? Again, not very sexy, kind of long, but EA puzzle games, exploration, adventure.
I am fine with that. And I think point and click falls under exploration and puzzle. Because that is like the implementation of exploring,
Yes, it's like the way by which you explore. Because I'm like, I know all these puzzles that I can do, they have to have something in common, and I just assumed it was the environmental aspect, but I guess that's not true anymore. Honestly, I feel kind of emotional over that because I feel like I'm having an identity crisis. So I'm not good at... Actually, I'm also good at environmental puzzles because you labeled those as... We renamed that spatial reasoning, which would be...
Well, yeah, I think
Portal,
Cocoon is still spatial reasoning.
Yeah, no. Cocoon's just there that was left over from before.
Oh.
Inside... put Limbo and put in... It's going to bother me if it's not written right. Limbo/inside. And then... Point and click, there's like the
like Monkey
mini
Island,
pieces,
there's
pieces of Mr. Koo.
The Frog Detective, which, God, that game was
that point and click?
It wasn't point and click.
That's
it
EA?
was, yeah, it was very much, oh, I'll give you these apples if you give me a chicken. Okay, oh, I'll give you a chicken if you give me a frisbee. All right. Oh, if you give me a frisbee, I'll give you... It's like, all right, I'm tired of fucking being everyone's delivery boy.
To throw another, which I guess, do you categorize that, like the delivery chain as a puzzle, or is that just like do you count that?
I
What's the difference between a
don't.
bad puzzle and a specific puzzle?
I think.
Also, is Frog Detective a puzzle game by definition? Let me see. It doesn't have puzzle written on its Steam tags, at least. Again, not the end all be all. Because, I think what you're describing sounds more like Chicory, which also is... Well, Chicory is a puzzle game, though.
Yeah,
it's
you're
just
right.
like a...
Detective off this.
Though Chicory is closer to... So, let's get to the Zelda of it all.
Yes.
Is Zelda a puzzle game? And you gotta give me real answers, not like sometimes when I'm in the... Like... Let's really figure out what the fuck's going on.
It's an adventure game that has puzzles in it. It is Zelda and Uncharted.
I think it's the most puzzly non-puzzle game. I would argue for
Zelda and Uncharted
games.
are two sides of the same coin.
That's literally.
As far as puzzles,
No, that's literally not. That's literally not true.
It
the
is.
Puzzles in Uncharted are 8 million times easier and less interesting. No shade. Because I wasn't looking for puzzles in Uncharted. I was just looking to shoot guys and explore. So I'm not mad the puzzles aren't good. I think Zelda is way more puzzly.
They are games.
They're like, no.
They're games where the main element of gameplay is something that you want, and every so often they put a puzzle in front of you that you have to you have to complete in order to keep progressing and doing the other part of the game. They're not puzzle games. They are games that are gatekept, that are roadblocked by puzzles.
I think Zelda's puzzles though are okay. We can both agree that neither are puzzle games.
Sure.
So let's start there. These aren't puzzle games.
Yes.
My reason that I'd put Zelda, I wouldn't say like, man, that's just a game with puzzles in it. I think Zelda is a step above that simply because I get what you're saying for the Uncharted part. It's more like I feel like the puzzles in Uncharted are there to add to like the whimsy of the adventure, like the tomb raiding element of like this dude raider ass game. Mm-hmm. That's what I think they're there for. And they are a prevalent part of the game. Like if you made Uncharted 5 and there were no puzzles, people would be like, why the fuck are there no puzzles? Same with Tomb Raider.
Mm-hmm.
If you made Tomb Raider no puzzles, you'd be like, what the fuck? That's like a big part of the game.
Yeah.
But I think in Zelda, most of what I'm doing is kind of a puzzle. And that does change Zelda to Zelda, but like the dungeons are just like big puzzle rooms. They're not like crazy complicated puzzles, but like dungeons puzzles, shrines puzzles, beast puzzles. And I fight in between. Like I feel like that just plays a bigger role. Again, it doesn't really matter for this conversation in a way because we agree they're not puzzle games, but I do think Zelda is like the closest you can get to a puzzle game without being a puzzle game. And I think the only reason Zelda is not a puzzle game is because there is so much more emphasis on exploration and action than there are in a puzzle game. But I do think people that like puzzle games probably often like Zelda because of the puzzliness of it. And people that are bad at puzzle games maybe looking stuff up in Zelda because it's like, same with Tunic. Tunic is a Zelda style game. And it's a huge emphasis on like its puzzle solving. Chicory, same deal. Chicory has like a lot of like
puzzles. They have challenges, but I don't think they have puzzles.
I think you need to figure out what to do in a lot of those. Like it's not like for instance, if I'm playing, I'm trying to think of a game that's a little bit more straightforward than this. Okay, if I'm playing Demon Souls, that's a game with challenges and no puzzles. Like I'm not really, and again, maybe there's one puzzle in there I'm not remembering, but like you're just fighting and getting from point A to point B and finding the shortcuts and learning the meta of the game and other things. Like I think in Chicory, again, not a puzzle game, but it is a Zelda game, and a Zelda game is a very puzzly non-puzzle game. Because I think you have to figure out what to do. It's not just like, can I do it? Like it's like, can I figure out what I need to do? I mean, they're not hard puzzles, but I think it is like a what stuff you paint and what order and
all
that or whatever.
Yes, I guess my qualm was that it is not Breath of the Wild, for example. Not every shrine is a puzzle. All the shrines are challenges, but not every of those challenges is a puzzle. Some of them are combat challenges. Some of them are platforming challenges. Some of them are like these other challenges that I just would not categorize as puzzle.
Sure. But there are some puzzles in there.
Yes, 100%.
And there's a lot of puzzles in there. Now, I think there's actually a lot of chuzzles in there, which are challenge puzzles, because you can also solve a lot of those through the unintended way. But also, again, I use unintended in quotes because they intended for you to be able to do what you perceive to be unintended. That's like the whole point of the game. So it's like, you have that moment where, oh my God, they wanted me to, use the ice thing, but instead I did this crazy bomb. Oh my God. And they're like, yeah, we know you could do that. And we thought that'd be fun that you could do that. That's why you did it.
Yeah.
That's why you put the cookies down. Nintendo put the cookies down because they knew that you'd throw the cookie plate or whatever, the Matrix 2 or whatever.
I don't know that a puzzle has unintended solutions.
But again, it's unintended through the
through design. I don't think
Bob is you
created a puzzle then.
Bob is you. You can solve those things like a bunch of different ways.
Can you?
I think so. Because Baba could just be whatever. Because you're just trying to get to
Baba can be whatever, but
because you're just trying to. Because the goal of those are to get to the flag or something, right? Baba is you.
Yeah.
But like through that, I could be like, oh, I made rock is. It's been a while since I played, so that's gonna be bad. But I made rock is water, and then I drowned the thing. You know what I mean? Like,
I think there's a difference between Baba is
solutions
you. And there being like. I feel like Zelda, the Zelda Shrine puzzles a lot of times.
It's so good.
Yeah, I feel like the Breath of the Wild Shrine puzzles are more akin to like how, I don't know, Capcom will be like, you can sneak in or you can go in guns blazing. It's like, yeah, they give you just straight up like multiple approaches to solving this. Not that like, oh yeah, if you see this as like a Baba can be this, then that means you can do this. Like there's wiggle room within the design, and then there's just straight up like multiple approaches to it. And I feel like the Zelda is much more of a multiple approaches to a problem than the solution. There's multiple solutions to the puzzle kind of thing.
Speaking of Baba is you, is that spatial reasoning?
I think so. Or grid logic. It's a little bit of both.
You have to pick one.
Maybe
or
more
Baba
grid logic. I guess grid logic.
Fuck, I don't think so. I think it's spatial reasoning because it's like looking at an environment because like the whole because we haven't really explained it that well. I'll just read from the Steam and then I'll add to that. Baba is You is a puzzle game where the rules you have to follow are present as blocks you can interact with. By manipulating them, you can change how the game works, repurpose things you find in the level, and cause surprising interactions. So your goal is often, if not exclusively, to get to the flag of the level. So you can do stuff like flag is win. And then you could change it to flag is you. And then now suddenly you can move as the flag. Is one example they give like in the trailer. I guess on that end you can maybe even change the win condition in some instances, but
But to me, spatial reasoning means that there needs to be like a minute element to your movement of the space, whereas Baba is You is locked to a grid.
Is it exploration and adventure because
angle.
You can trial and error?
Definitely not.
It is a trial and error game.
It is not.
And I'm good at it ish.
No.
So this is back to my other reasoning of the thing. I'm sorry. Is that yes? I can't hear you over the Discord call.
Absolutely not.
It just feels weird. Okay, so what about
putting a Baby is You?
Baby is You. What about Patrick's Parabox?
Patrick's Parabox is more spatial. Yeah, that's more spatial reasoning.
Can you explain to me what Patrick's Parabox is?
Patrick's Parabox is very much Cocoon, where you are a box that can push boxes, and each level is a box that you can go inside of, and so
it's an exhibit puzzle game.
Each room is a box, and you can go into rooms by going into boxes, but then you can also push rooms by pushing their outer box to rearrange them within other rooms. So, it is very much I'm going to come out a level and move the puzzle, go in, and then exit out of a different area so that I'm somewhere else in the grandparent.
So even though he's cousins with Baba, they go to different schools.
Yeah.
Because I do think Patrick, Sparrowbox, and Baba are friends.
Yeah.
But they're not like at the same school. If
Baba wasn't locked to a grid and it was much
Baba
more
is
like
Patrick.
a little bit.
I mean,
yeah.
Patrick's Sparrowbox, assuming that I don't know if the score you play is named Patrick, I don't remember. You're also locked to a grid. Like you can only move in 4 directions, up, down, left, right.
Yes, but you're more reasoning the space around you, I think, more than logicking your way through it like you are in Baba Is You.
All right.
Like there's more of an emphasis on the space and like to me in Patrick's Parabox than there is in Baba Is You. Baba Is You is much closer to a box pushing to find the solution than Patrick's is about like changing where, like, not moving where the box is, but like changing the layout of what a box is in order to find the solution.
Okay. I can live with that. What I think is an easy one, puzzle platformer, jump puzzle.
What's a jump puzzle?
It's a puzzle where you need to solve it by jumping around. I don't really
You're gonna have to give me more than that.
You're gonna have to give me more than that. Well, this is tough because I wonder if you counted Yoko's Island. Oh, Yoko's Island's like 8 genres, and it's also none of the genres. So let me think a little bit more. I would say off the top of my head, and then we can explore if it's right. I would say, what the fuck is that shit that I just played that I didn't really like? Love Eternal. Partially puzzle platformer. It's more of like a hard platformer than a puzzle, I guess, maybe, because you're not figuring stuff out. So maybe that's not a good example.
I could give you Gravity Flippers as like a subgenre to puzzle platformer.
It's probably better though, as with its other subgenre. I don't know. Now I still think I feel like I can't think of any of these.
Yeah, like more precision. Like it's more dexterity based than like solving based.
This is a maybe good one, and I am stealing this from like I started looking at puzzle platformers and on Game Developer. They list a bunch. Some of them I don't agree with. Like they have Limbo and stuff that I wouldn't actually like. They're kind of because you do jump, but I just think they're more about exploring than jumping. I think you just happen to jump. Thomas Was Alone.
I don't think that's a puzzle though.
I thought it was.
Yeah, to me, it's just like
figuring stuff out. No, because you have to like figure out like how the shapes fit or whatever or some shit, right?
Yeah,
you know what?
I guess you're right. I guess you're right.
This you'll have to comment on. Fez.
Fez is definitely spatial awareness to me. It's like spatial awareness, pattern recognition. Yeah, like it can.
Is this another genre that doesn't exist? And in my head, it was like.
I think it's more like I think puzzle platformers fall under maybe
adventure.
Yeah,
I think they definitely fall under adventure. Because sometimes when I see a puzzle platformer, the reason I don't play it is because some of them you don't jump that much. Like they are more like Limbo, where it's like if you like jumping, I don't think you're gonna. If you're like, you know what, I don't really like puzzle games, but I fucking love to jump. I don't think you won't be getting the jump juice from Limbo or Inside.
Yeah,
there are games where you just happen to jump. So yeah, I do think that goes underneath those. But I can't even think of good examples. Can you? I feel like I'm coming up short on that element, which is surprising to me because in my head I'm like, there's so many, but a lot of those I think the platforming element often gets over attributed. Like they're simply games where you can jump versus games where you know.
Yeah. Like it's tough, right? Like
I'm having a hard time now.
Just because
tag on Steam.
A challenge is presented to you doesn't shouldn't automatically make it labeled as a puzzle, right? But a puzzle is inherently like some of the most used challenge mechanics in games, right? Like it's...
Well, actually, no, never mind. I was going to name a game, then I'm like, nah, that's not it. I think secretly this genre doesn't really exist. I think this is my hot take now coming out of this, because I'm looking and I'm not really... Like, everything I find that could be labeled as a puzzle platformer just fits better under other labels. So, like, for instance, going to Steam, and again, not the end-all be-all, very flawed tag system, but, you know, it gives you some basic ideas. All of these I would just fit under something else. Like, they're either not puzzly enough or there's something else. So, like, stuff that comes up is like Planet of Lana. Again, I do feel like you're like, that feels just more like Inside and Limbo, where like you happen to jump, but I don't think it's a big part of it. Animal Well comes up. I think that just fits better under the Metroidvania puzzle element.
Definitely.
Like, you happen to jump, and you do jump under a lot of... Well, I wouldn't even call that a Metroidvania. It's simply a Metroidvania puzzle game.
I guess it is Metroidvania. Yeah, you do get like tools that physically help you platform. Yeah. In a lot of Metroidvanias, you jump, but I wouldn't say every Metroidvania is a platformer. In a way, like, it's a little bit muddy there. Like, for instance, Metroid, which again, we'll kind of be brief on this because it's not what the topic is about. I would not say Metroid is a platformer. I would say Ori and the Blind Forest, I would say that's a Metroidvania platformer, because like the jump, like, you have these really intense jump sequences that you never have in Metroid. Like, you're not like, holy shit, that was fucking clean. Like, wow, I was jumping left and right. Like, you know, like, I can show clips of Ori, Silk Song, even though Silk Song I would barely count. Like, it's a kind of a weird one. Silk Song, Prince of Persia: Lost Crown. Like, I can show you like 1 minute of footage where you'd be like, oh, this is a platformer. Like, it could pass as a platformer. I don't think there's any minute you could cut of Metroid where I'm like, that's a platformer. Like, maybe some of the bomb jumping, I might say, could be a weird platform, you know, but like that, and that's sure. I don't know. But that gets kind of funky. But yeah, I see Portal again. I don't think that's it. Celeste, I don't think you have to think enough. I think it's more of just a hard platformer. I think you're totally right. I think challenge sometimes gets labeled as puzzle. Now, I will say, I think there's an argument. I would think there's an argument to be made for here, but I wouldn't push too hard for it, especially against you, because I know you're a little bit more purist with your platforming label. But I do see Heavenly Bodies on here, and that, to me,
you don't even jump; you just float around.
you
also,
go
talk about games that
you go
talk
from
about games we haven't
platform.
finished because Isaiah hates them. Heavenly Bodies I loved, and Isaiah said, "Nah."
Hate is strong. I don't hate the game.
In defense of you in the game,
I didn't like how it controlled,
you really hate is
which is
me.
a part
I
of the
think
game.
that let's put it all out there. I'm not big-brained enough to be your co-op partner, and you're like, damn, is this game ass? No, I think I think that's you feeling my dumbness and not wanting to label it as a me problem. But that's when we look at what connects all these games, is why that I'm in that second chair. I don't know. All right, we do still need at least an example of a puzzle platformer. Do we have maybe what about it's kind of cheating because it's like literally half puzzle, half platformer, but what about Henry Hatsworth?
Yeah, it's weird because like I could be open.
Please
to it.
let me talk about Henry Hatsworth on the show, please.
I'm not saying no. I'm more just making sure like we're adding a game where we can definitively like point out the puzzle part from the platforming part.
That's the thing. It is kind of cheating because it's like half and half, but like it is still a puzzle platformer, though. It's like in a way, it's the most puzzle platformer that you could get.
You're not wrong.
But I understand it feels like a cheap cop-out.
It feels cheap. It does feel cheap. Man. I
wonder, again, all the genres I'm good at don't exist, is what I've learned. which makes sense because I'm not good at puzzle games. So like, I'm like, oh, I'm good at these. It's like, yeah, they don't have games for that. And also, you didn't know what an environmental puzzle was, is what I.
So maybe we're looking at this the wrong way.
Because some people label like Portal and stuff there, but I just feel like it's not really about
maybe the puzzle platformer was a misnomer, right? Where it's like puzzle platformer is really like saying third person shooter. It's like it's a shooter. It's a puzzle game, and just like in addition to being a puzzle game, it is a platforming game. Not that like the puzzles are platforming.
But
your silence says no.
Well, because the thing is, like, what I was looking for is like, what's a game where I almost like, so now I've shifted my perception of the environmental puzzle game to be exploration adventure. EA puzzle. Mm-hmm. It's in the puzzle. So I feel like it is a form of the exploration adventure, but I was looking for something where I felt like the platforming would be more integral to being able to solve the puzzle. And I just am struggling to find stuff where it really feels, and when I say integral, I mean like off of more feel than the textbook definition, because on a very technical level, you can't beat Limbo without jumping. Like, I acknowledge that, but like I'm trying to think of a game where also someone who likes jumping would be like, oh yeah, I get to jump a lot in here. I'm enjoying the jumping I'm doing, kind of thing. And I'm not really finding anything that quite fits. Like, the closest I find are, again, those adventure games where it's like you happen to be jumping. You know, the Limbos, the Insides, the Planet of Lana's. Didn't play this myself, but like Deer and Boy recently came out, and that has that vibe to it.
Deer and Boy?
Yeah, it's just an indie game where about a deer and a boy, and but like look at the gameplay and you'll see that they're doing the classic left to right. I push a couple boxes, I jump over a hole.
Yeah. This definitely gives that like Limbo-esque approach.
Yeah, the closest we get actually, because this is also me just again looking at the Steam list, trying to see if anything fits, in a weird ass way. Even though I wouldn't actually label this a puzzle game, so this is why it gets fucked up in that sense. But the closest thing is like It Takes Two, because you jump a lot in that game. You're jumping a lot in that game, and you are solving some puzzles. But again, I think that's more of that I struggle to say that's a puzzle game.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's more of a Zelda type situation where the puzzle solving is a huge component of it, but not the end all be all kind of thing.
Maybe we can work backwards. Can we name something that falls in this, like, what's a raw platforming game, I guess, that doesn't have any puzzle?
Mario. Even though, yeah, Mario 64. Even though you could argue, figuring out that you look at the thing is a puzzle, or like, but I think we're just,
It's like a pure dexterity challenging platformer.
Super Meat Boy.
Okay.
It's even less puzzly than Mario, which already isn't puzzly, but again, one could argue finding the secrets or whatever is the puzzle.
What is the opposite of Super Meat Boy?
The opposite of but it's still a platformer?
Yeah.
Smooshy Come Home. Which might be kind of a puzzle I feel like I'm more exploring though in Smooshy Come Home. Which those that don't know, I liked it when I first played it, and then I kind of cooled on it when I had my full time. Not a bad game at all. Low-key actually kind of good. I felt a little less taken by it, like when I was trying to play the whole it was kind of like the demo hit really good, but then it's like, I don't know, the full time I was a little less enamored by. But Smooshy Come Home is what I categorize as like an exploration platformer, because it's not really about the dexterity. It's kind of like, in a pseudo open world, open zone kind of thing. And it is all about exploring. This is also where something that I've been working through as I talked with Patrick on our show, Jump Rank Repeat, about platforming and the different types that there are. This also hits like that casual platformer where it's like, I think someone who sucks at platforming could play Smooshy Come Home and like be fine, because you're really like, you jump a lot. I definitely would label it as a platformer, but it's like very, very chill. Almost like cozy platformer would also be another thing. Though funny enough, it's not labeled as a platformer like at all on the Steam page, but I just kind of disagree. I mean, I guess you could say you're more exploring than jump, but like you jump around a bunch in that game. That's like the main thing I feel like you're doing. Like you do climb and do other stuff, so I don't know. There's an argument to be made that maybe it's not even a platformer, but I find this to be a platformer. Just a really chill one. Kind of like this game's harder than that, but God, what's that game I played with the Poi? The game Poi is like a Mario 64 kind of clone. And it's very chill and very easy. That's more platformery than Smooshy because it's like collectathon core, while Smooshy's more like, we're just looking around for things. Like Smooshy's kind of like, without the little guys following you, it's like Pikmin if you could jump kind of thing. Tinykin.
Okay.
It's like a little bit more Tinykin coded than. I did consider that Tinykin because that came up on somebody's list somewhere, but I think that's. I don't know. Is Pikmin a puzzle game though? But is Pikmin a puzzle game?
Yeah.
Is it?
I think it's more of a meeple management kind of thing.
I don't know if meeple management's puzzle though.
There's puzzle to it. You have to like find the right meeple and where to find the meeples and how to get them. And
that's more of like a hide and go seek to me then. Is hide and go seek a puzzle game?
I mean, what is it? Yeah, hide and go seek is a puzzle game.
I think this is more of a cousin game to me.
We got a whole genre for hide and go seek. That's the whole exploration.
But in your defense,
the EA.
In your defense, I do think it gets labeled puzzle in some of the. Let me look at the Nintendo page. Nintendo does not say the word puzzle in their page for Pikmin 4. Pikmin 4 Wikipedia says real-time strategy video game, which I also think is laying it on a little thick.
I mean, what is a strategy if not a puzzle?
In the genre seeds, they do mention puzzle in there, but it takes a while for puzzle to come up in the body of the wiki. Let me see when does that come up? Yeah, I just don't think you're really solving puzzles. I think puzzles a little too generous for Pikmin.
No, you're totally solving puzzles.
What puzzle are you solving? It says have 4 purple and you put 4 purple in there?
No, there's puzzle in the platforming. There's platforming. There's like raw, natural, like dexterity based platforming. Then there's also the puzzle in platforming. And then there's the puzzle of getting the people to the right way, because sometimes you can't just go straight from A to B. You got to go from A to C to D to Q to B.
Is that not just the challenge?
I mean? Like I think there's enough logic in it that it's not just dexterity challenge, and that it is.
But who said a challenge had to just be dexterity? Because again, I would argue this back to the Zelda thing. Those aren't dexterity. Like, it's only dexterity in the sense that I'm using my hands, right? But it's not like, oh man, I just can't get the hitting the thing right for the most part. It's not me. It's not Meat Boy. But I don't think that means it's inherently a puzzle. I think if Pikmin's a puzzle, Zelda's a puzzle at that point. To me, I don't see how that's different.
I think there's...
Because you're just trying to get places and find stuff. And I think most games are about getting places and finding stuff, but they're not necessarily puzzle games. In Mario Odyssey, it's like, I have to figure out how to get up there. I need to get the coin or the star or the moon or whatever. It's moons for Odyssey. But I wouldn't say it's a puzzle to get up there, even if I have to do multiple steps. Like for instance, okay. Where's that Mexican place in Mario Odyssey? What is that called?
Oh, the desert. I know what you're talking about, though.
Sure, the Mexican place. So when you go to Mexico, Mario Odyssey, we all know what I'm talking about. The fucking whatever the hell it is. there's a hold on, I got a cough. There's a challenge where you need to get the moon, and the moon's like, I think, covered in the center, seemingly like unreachable. And the challenge is that you have to like either temporarily turn on or just like check with the invisible platforms, like where they are. I might be lightly butchering this, but I think you kind of vaguely remember what I'm talking about. That is a challenge that involves logic. You know, it's hard enough that no shade to your kid, a dumb kid might not figure that out because it's kind of got a lot going on with it. I wouldn't say that's a puzzle, though. It's like a little puzzle-y, right. But I don't think that makes it like now it's, you know.
Maybe we got to go to old tried and true Merriam-Webster. The definition of puzzle. The two that I think are most applicable here are 2A, something that is difficult to solve, resolve, or understand. That says nothing.
I would have wrote that.
Something such as a game or test that is designed to be challenging to answer or solve. That is just synonymous with challenge. Like, it's a challenge. It's what do you mean?
But you're the one that... Yeah, so then the point is that there isn't anything from that.
Maybe there is no difference between...
A puzzle and a challenge?
I think a challenge.
I think a puzzle is a little bit more cerebral, while like a challenge is often more execution-based. And I think there also is I think the thing we're not really talking about is there is a threshold to... So I think with video games and what makes it a puzzle game versus a game with puzzles is the ratio of puzzle solving to the other verbs
activity.
To the other verbs of the game. Like, am I mostly... And the same thing with platforming, because like every game has jump, and that's why like off air I said a platformer is a game where jump is the primary verb you use to reach whatever your goals are, and you said it's a game that just has platforms, and I said that's insane, which I stand by, because I think that isn't every fucking game has platforms.
No.
So if you can't like, we'll do a platform episode maybe later, but I think that's insane. We can just disagree on that and then figure it out later. But the reason that I think it's important to, regardless of the genre, call in on what is like the main component of it is because like most games, especially as we move into like the more modern era of having multiple things going on, have a lot of things going on, right? Portal, you shoot a gun. Well, okay, so it's a shooter. It's a first-person shooter. And some people do label Portal as a first-person shooter, and that is not wrong, but it leads you down the wrong path. Like if I was giving you hints on what the game was, and I said it's a first-person shooter, I'd be kind of an asshole for that. But if you asked me, if we're playing, guess the game, you said, is it a first-person shooter? I would say, technically, yes. And, like, that would be kind of potentially leading you astray, but I'm, it's not my fault that you asked me that question kind of vibe. And it's also why I probably had the technically yes, because I think when we think first-person shooter, we think COD, maybe even to a degree something like an Overwatch, even though you're not always shooting. There's, like, a certain level of the type of shooting you're doing that doesn't fit Portal. And that's why it's like, well, the more important thing for Portal is that it is a type of puzzle game. Like, we can all agree that it's a type of puzzle game. We can debate, is it environmental puzzle, logic puzzle, shooting puzzle?
Sure.
It's puzzle. Platforming puzzle, which some people do label Portal as a platforming puzzle. I wouldn't. But, so, and I think when it comes to these genre subdivisions we've created, we are kind of looking at what are the more specific things you're doing to solve the puzzle. And I guess I would argue that, again, maybe this genre doesn't really exist. I think there are things that can get this label, and I understand why. But when I think about, like, what makes a platformer, which is the jumping, for me, I guess the question is, I don't know why you're having a hard time with it, because all these games have platforms. So I guess, okay, Chance Sonar is a puzzle platformer because you take the boat from one platform to another.
No. I feel like the focus is not to get from platform to platform. Okay,
so also you saying the focus is to get from
you
platform
could sell
to platform
the game
is
without...
different is
sell the
different
game
than you
without
saying the
mentioning
game
the
has
platforms.
platforms.
You
Like,
sell the game without mentioning platforms. I think that is it. You can't sell Mario without mentioning the jumping, for the getting from platform to platform to whatever. You can't sell Downwell without explaining that you're going down from platform to platform kind of thing. You could totally sell Chance of Snar.
I mean, sometimes there's platforms in the hole, but
yeah, you gotta land in order to reload your gun, your feet gun.
I need you to know that getting from platform to platform is a way different statement than the game has platforms.
Well, my big thing has always been that you're getting from platform. Like, you don't necessarily need to jump. Like,
When
my
I
thing is, you don't need a jump to be a platformer. Your whole thing is you need to jump.
Because that's the whole part. But also, again,
Yeah,
I still think you're insane. But it is important to note that that's a different... Getting from platform to platform is a different statement than it has platforms. You can see why has platforms was an insane statement. Okay, that's nice.
But is it?
It is
because
yes. Because every fucking game
that
has
platforms?
You're putting a piece of land down.
That's not a platform. That's land. Platform is its own structure. It's its own.
Most places have elevation.
You need to get to.
Animal Crossing: New Horizons has platforms.
Does it? If you
yeah, and
if you don't need to
over to the next spot.
That's platforming.
No, it's not, because you're not jumping. You
don't need to jump. You have to platform. Platform does not mean jump.
So then you're saying Animal Crossing
jumping is one way to platform.
Okay, so fine. So
no, I'm saying it's a game that has platforms.
But then that's why your definition doesn't work. Okay, anyway, this would be a fight for a future episode, where I will have an aneurysm because I think that's crazy. But I guess it's also well, even with your definition, I don't think you're finding anything for this. I think this genre secretly doesn't exist, and I think what we've done as a society is we've seen a puzzle game where you jump and said that's a puzzle platformer, and I don't think that's true.
Yeah, that's fair. I
can't find any games that fit this, that don't just fit better into a different categorization. And I get that, like, I'm sure people will be in the or listening thinking, oh, well, you can have multiple genres, and I agree, but I just don't think you're jumping enough.
Yeah,
I don't think you're jumping enough. Which before we sat down and do this, I would have said, like, oh yeah, like a puzzle platformer, that's like my jam. I think it's just a game where I'm jumping. Which again, maybe we're also being too narrow-minded on maybe when the platformer becomes a puzzle platformer, the platforming is inherently de-emphasized, which I think makes sense. But I guess I thought you'd be jumping more, because I know Braid comes up a lot for this. Braid might be close. You do jump a good amount. Like, you're jumping over. It's kind of like, it's like OG Mario.
Braid, I feel like, is very much the platforming is like, because you're jumping a good amount to the puzzle. Braid might be one. I'd be willing to.
We're stuck in the Jonathan Blow mines.
Yeah. I'd be willing to do.
Yeah, you're jumping. I'm seeing a lot of jumping in Braid.
Oh, you're definitely jumping in Braid. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a time rewind thing. I remember that.
But that's a puzzle. That is I think that is like a core. You cannot sell it as you gotta be jumping. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like you can't.
But also, like, there's a lot of platforming in this.
Yeah, but even still, you can't just say.
No, and I'm not saying that.
You know, yeah.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm emphasizing that, like, it is so platformery. I think this might be one of the world's only puzzle platformers. Because yeah, I think it's 50/50 is dramatic, and again, I don't need it to be perfect, but I need to feel like I'm jumping a lot. Like, I'm jumping enough, not just like I happen to jump. Because there's a lot of games and the reason I'm so, like, stubborn on this is there's a lot of video games where you jump, but that doesn't automatically make them platformers. So by extension, I don't think we should say any puzzle game where you're jumping is a puzzle platformer. You know, because we don't label, you know, again, Overwatch as a platformer just because you jump in that game, or Fortnite.
Yeah,
it's like you need more than just the act of jumping, and I think Braid does fit that bill. Okay, now we can rest in peace because we found our one and again, I'm sure there's people writing, and I will be surprised if we take any of those. Because I struggle to imagine one where it feels like a really integral part.
Yeah.
Other than Braid. Interesting stuff. Okay.
Maybe, yeah, without going into it too deep right now, because we'll touch on it later, like, maybe this is poll of the show. It's like, hey, here's some games. What do you categorize? Like, what would be your categorization based on what we've talked about so far, you know?
On that note, two things, because I know we ran long on this segment. One, we'll probably have the second segment be a little bit shorter to make it more even. But two, I initially said that we'd mention our favorites within these kind of different subgenres. This took long enough that I think we'll punt that for a part 2, where we can kind of also take some of y'all's opinions and perspectives on these categories. Are we missing categories? Things like that. We of course have mentioned, puzzle games throughout this. So if you were hoping for those recs, hopefully you got a little prequel to some of that. With games like pretty much any game that we just didn't outright disparage. Patrick's Paradox we're big fans of. Baba's You, the freaking Dogpile, and all these other titles. Before we close out this segment, I do want to do some quick slot checks for some of these. Hopefully this won't unearth more subgenres, but just to make, or that they'll be easier to answer than our last few. But just as a check, what puzzle games were in my mind? Let me maybe just look at my Backloggd for what I've played, because I just want to see that we have a tight enough ship here that's good. I mean, we already did Little to the Left, which was a big one for me. Yeah, Creature Kitchen, that would be... it's kind of like Grun, but I don't think it's a Metroidvania, though. I'd maybe put that under Exploration Adventure, which, again, I would personally argue that Metroidvania is a type of EA game, but I understand wanting to put it as its own thing.
It almost seems, it definitely seems closer to the, like, give a mouse a cookie, but I haven't played it, so you would have to kind of
it's definitely not something where, if we're thinking of Metroidvania as, if you knew the answer, you could finish it immediately, it is not that. You would finish it faster, but you still inherently, you're, like, finding creatures, taking photos of them, making them meals, and then they give you things to, like, let you keep going. But it's not like, it's not funky logic, like point and click style logic or anything. You're not going to be like, what? This did this thing? Like, it's not, it's a little doofy, but it's not too crazy. I'd probably put that under EA, Exploration Adventure. Do I have any? Oh, I had a question. Where do spot the difference in hidden object? Are those just cousin genres?
Spot the difference in hidden object, I say, are exploration and adventure. The same way point and click is. Because they fall down
it's just about
to...
finding
They're cousins
something.
to point and click, that's what Monkey Island is. That's what...
But I feel like it's more like figuring out order than just finding an item. And I love those games, but I just don't
That makes it even simpler then.
Well, now we're back to the, like, it has to be a puzzle game because a jigsaw puzzle is a puzzle.
Kind of. Like...
But then
they are closer to a jigsaw puzzle, for sure.
What's the categorization? You think exploration and adventure?
I say it's under just exploration and adventure. Now, I don't like the name Exploration Adventure. That's kind of the best one we have so far. But similar to the like environmental to spatial reasoning,
I think the EA really jazzes us up.
The EA is nice,
you know. EA puzzle.
But we're locking into a name that might not be the best.
Okay, I kind of just slotted those jankily. Spot the difference hidden object as a subcategory. Do I have any other funky puzzles to throw your way? I don't think the Keeper, I think, fits very comfortably under EA. Previously, what I would have thought of as an environmental puzzle, because you're manipulating the environment, but now I think it's just an EA game.
Is it even a puzzle? I thought it was just like kind of more...
No, you're a puzzle.
Like adventure.
No, you're just solving little puzzles. It's kind of like Cocoon.
Oh, okay.
It's maybe a little less cerebral than Cocoon, but it's kind of like that.
Similar to other games we talked about, Untitled Goose Game, also exploration adventure puzzle.
Exploration adventure subcategory checklist. To me,
I mean, is that not just hidden object?
No, not at all. It's not about fun.
Is hidden object not a checklist game?
It's a game that typically has a checklist,
Boom,
but I wouldn't say it's a checklist game.
Lawyer.
Oh! But a little to the left is an organization puzzle, the game where I'm organizing. Yeah,
Fair
we
enough.
also have
Fair
names that don't make
Fair
any sense. So yeah, I would say I think it's a type of exploration adventure puzzle game. And the reason I have checklist game as its own category is these are games where I feel like
Thank Goodness You're Here.
Yes, and Little Kitty Big City. These are games that are predicated on the fact that the checklist is the time flies. They're predicated on the checklist functioning both as tracking objectives in a traditional sense, but more importantly, they are cheeky little hints. In a traditional video game like Horizon or something, you technically have a checklist that appears in the left corner. That's your objectives, and it will say like, find whoever the hell, give them, 12 walker heads or whatever. I don't remember any of the nouns for that game. And that, in a way, you say, oh, it's a checklist. But the checklist itself is often part of the puzzle, And sometimes it is just get a thing. Like, give milk to the mailman. But usually there's more to it, like figuring out how to be able to get the milk to the mailman and have it be this chain thing. I would say, which honestly, something else we could do with this, and people will have to let us know like how entertaining this has been or not. I'm really enjoying it. Hopefully it's also fun listening. I would love to do, sometimes I think we think too much of genres as hierarchies. I think what we should do with this, the puzzle game family tree. I kind of want to almost see how things relate, because I feel like the checklist puzzle is
There's going to be so much incest in this family tree.
No, don't ruin the family tree. It's supposed to be nice.
It's going to be
nice.
fucking cousins.
No,
brothers and sisters making their own grandma.
No. Look, I don't know what kind of freaked out family tree you're fucking working with. But the reason I mention this is because I know we're mentioning like cousin genres to the puzzle. But I think within the puzzle hierarchy, there's also like kind of companion, like I think the checklist game low-key has a lot in common with like the point and click puzzle game, because it is kind of like there's like a whole like sub vibe of trial and error that I think which I guess maybe that's why they're under the EA game. So maybe I'm almost over analyzing where things kind of come back around. But yeah, I would put that under it's an exploration adventure puzzle game, specifically a checklist style. So we got what was it? Untitled Goose Game is in there. Time Flies is in there. Little Kitty Big City. It's not out yet, but a game I really liked. That's also a checklist puzzle game is called. God, what's it called? It's like it has a crow in it, but it's not Crow Things. I didn't like that game, but that was also a checklist game.
It's got
crow
in it.
video game puzzle. Maybe it's not a crow. Maybe it's a different bird. Fuck, what the hell is it called? It's like I played it at SGF.
You sure it's not
I
just
don't
Crow
remember.
Thing?
No, it's definitely not Crow Things. Maybe it's not a crow. No, Magpie. It's not a crow. It's a magpie. It's called It's called Bad Magpie. Bad Magpie. It's good. I liked it a lot.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, wrong bird.
Bad
and Magpie is there. And Crow Things is also there. I just don't like it. But it is... My like of the game has nothing to do with the genre type. So is the other game I didn't like as much. There's a couple other... Sometimes this genre doesn't hit for me is what the point is. But, okay. Okay. That's all I have for out the gate. Again, we can... I think we'll be digging into this for a while now that I'm thinking about it. Because there's also, like, Crit Masters in here. But I think we got to stop at a certain point, so...
Oh, yeah.
I think we got to stop now. We can't bring up Crit Master, but because we've gone for too long. But we're... Yeah. We're doing all right. And I like, so far, the subcategorization. So let me just read for people what we have.
Yes.
We have for main categories, and then I will shout out some of the subcategories. Most of the subcategories are just in that exploration adventure sector. So, spoilers for that.
Yeah.
We have the Metroidvania. Games like Outer Wilds, Grun, Lorelei and the Laser Eyes. Logic
Lorelei.
Grid.
Sorry.
God damn it, Isaiah.
Just to interject. Lorelei, I think, might have some things that are like I don't know if you can just solve.
Yeah, like
Lorelei
I didn't think
from
it
the
was.
Beginning with just your knowledge.
To be clear, I didn't think I just
it.
didn't play it enough. Okay, let's cut that. Where would you put it then? EA? Or maybe just like something else?
Deductive. It's more chance of Sonar than it
Let's
is
just leave it.
a little to the left. Leave it off the
throwing it in
list
the bin.
altogether.
It's off. It's not on the list anymore. Ignore that last part. Types of puzzle games. Metroidvania. Outer Wilds Grun. Is the fact that we don't have more in this indication that this genre doesn't exist? Maybe you decide in the comments. Okay. Logic Grid. With things like nonograms, Sudoku, Baba is You, Proverbs, Organization Puzzle, Scored Level Timed Limitless, games like Luminous, Threes, Zumba?
Zuma.
I don't know.
I think it was
Zuma. Oh, okay.
I think it
Zuma.
autocorrected.
Not to be confused with the dancing craze. Zumba. Tetris. Dr. Mario. Puyo Puyo Tetris. And the subcategory being Match 3 and Merge games. Like Suika and Candy Crush. Pattern recognition slash slot filling. You threw that in at the end. I didn't see you throw. Okay.
Yeah.
A little to the left, and is this seat taken? Deductive reasoning puzzle. We didn't actually make a lot of examples for that.
A little bit deductive. A little to the left, or is this seat taken is a little bit.
We'll return.
It has
to
one
this
foot
later.
in deductive.
Okay, we'll return. These two are a little sloppy then. Okay. Spatial reasoning puzzle. Portal 1 and 2. Superliminal. Maquette. Patrick's Parabox. So I think we said Cocoon is not in there. Yes. Okay.
No, it is.
And final. Oh, why?
Because it is. What do you mean?
Cocoon?
In spatial reasoning?
You told me we weren't spatial reasoning in Cocoon, are we?
No, I said it was.
We're just pushing boxes.
It's like Patrick's Parabox. Cocoon and Patrick's Parabox are the same game.
No, they're not. Just because you go into something doesn't mean it's the same game.
You go into something in order to move something that you come out in a different place? Yeah, that's the same game.
We'll leave it all alone for now. And finally, exploration adventure puzzle game, aka EA puzzle game. With games like Limbo and Inside. With subgenres like the puzzle platformer, which is literally just Braid. The subgenres like point and click puzzle game. Stuff like Monkey Island, the mini pieces of Mr. Coo. Another subdivision, Spot the Difference / Hidden Object. And then the final subdivision, checklist games like Untitled Goose Game, Time Flies, Little Kitty Big City, Crow Things, and the not yet released Bad Magpie. And now we're done for now. The puzzle game genre debate will return with eventually recommendations. And guess what? Good news. If you don't agree on the genre, the recommendations will still work. So we'll figure that out. That was way harder than I thought it would be.
But it was fun.
That's all I have to say. It was a lot of fun. I feel like I learned a lot. And then it's funny looking back over it and being like, wait, actually this needs to move or whatever. So, yeah, definitely interesting debates to be had.
Mm-hmm.
And now for the Not Games portion of the show, which will be a smidge truncated just to make up for time or to account for the extra time from before. However that needs to be worded. We are going to be talking about reading specifically. I have gotten the Kobo, is it the Libra color? Is the name of the thing? It's pretty new.
Clara color?
Clara color, thank you. Did I get the Clara color or the... Yeah, I did get the Clara color. Is the Libra than the other one?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Libra's the wide one, the wider one. So yeah,
I think so, yeah.
Kobo Clara color was my e-reader of choice. And since we recorded the last episode, which was last week, I have officially finished my paperback book that I was reading, which was Chain Gang All-Stars. Yay! I did it. I'm done. Part of me is like, did I not finish that before? Oh yeah, because I guess we recorded while my vacation was still going, and I finished it at the end of my vacation. And it felt so good to have finished that book because it's a good book. Recommend the book. It was cool. It was made less cool by how slowly I read it. I read that book over months of time. And it was honestly a little bit of a psychological torment on myself to try to hold the information of the book in my head, even where it's like, okay, this is what's going on with this character. And then just hold that for like months, which was crazy. I don't know why I did that to myself. Gonna try to avoid that in the future. So I finished that, and then I technically I bought this before I finished my book, but this was like my gift to myself / inspo to try to read more. Now, haters will say you cannot buy your way out of your bad habits, and I agree with them, but also, do they have this Kobo? Because here's the thing.
Do they have this Kobo?
Do they have this Kobo? Because I grew to do the classic background setting and then to the now. I grew up pretty anti-e-reader. I felt like I'm just a big fan of physical media. Always have been, even as a kid. And as someone that studied English literature, I really just valued the physical aspect of reading and literacy. And I still have value for that. I don't think having an e-reader necessarily negates that. And I do think in my younger, more head-ass days, I kind of felt like this was the evil of books. And that wasn't, while I think I was a little head-ass with that, I don't think that there's nothing but head-assery with that take, because it is true that who dominates the e-reader space is Kindle, which is an Amazon thing. And Amazon did get start of driving bookstores out of business because they through their business acumen were able to price books really, really cheaply, cheaper than local bookstores, and that did lead to the shuttering of a lot of bookstores. Even probably like chains to a degree. Like I'm pretty sure without Amazon, I think Borders would have still existed. I don't know if you remember that chain. It was
yeah, I used to love Borders.
I mean too. I loved Borders. I wrote my college entry essay about how much I loved Borders. The store and all that. So
thank you for clarifying.
Yeah, actually a really important clarification. The store. Like these are Borders that actually free whatever. Yeah, I'm sure I wrote something stupid on there, but whatever. So that was my feeling about it. Over the years, I've been exposed to Kindles here and there because the problem with chasing the new thing that will solve who you are is it only works if it works. And if it works, it does feel like it was the thing. And when it fails, it kind of feels like, I don't know, sort of inevitable. So I never bought my own Kindle to my memory. Maybe I did and I forgot. Because usually someone around me had a Kindle and they, got tired of it. So like, I've had family members kind of give up on their Kindle, and I'll swoop up the Kindle and I'll try that a bit, and it never really stuck. You had a Kindle that was also quite old that you kind of gave to me.
Yeah.
And it was like so old that like the charge wasn't great. So I kind of was just, I don't know. I didn't even spend that much time with it. And then eventually, maybe even up until a few months ago, like during one of our clean outs, I was like, I think it's time to eat this Kindle. Like, we're not really, I don't think anyone's using this Kindle. I had heard about the Kobo casually online, probably through TikTok realistically. There's, many different e-reader competitors that exist in the space, but I think Kobo, from anecdotally, seems like the other big player in the space, like second to Kindle. Like I feel like those are the I don't know who the big three is, or the third of the big three, but those are like some of the bigger players. And I liked what I was hearing about Kobo. I liked that it wasn't an Amazon thing. I liked that people just seemed happy with the device. And I also liked, besides the divorcing from Amazon from like always better to divorce from Amazon than not, a lot of people were really miffed by pretty recently Amazon made one of their Kindle models obsolete, where like you couldn't get any more books on it. And a lot of people were really mad about that. And especially because it was like a forced upgrade and it didn't have any trade-in program at all for it. I think that's honestly, if they had a trade-in option, I think people would have been less upset by it. But with it just being like, oh, so like this isn't really a safe place for me to be reading long term. Like it's gonna have like a level of obsolescence in it. Now, who's to say Kobo's not gonna do the same thing at some point? I don't know.
Yeah.
But with those two things in mind, and then I think a secret third thing, which is I feel like I'm sure there are more low key Kindles you can get, but to me, Kindle was always trying to like push the tech forward, and I actually prefer a more dumb piece of technology for an e-reader. I already have an iPad. If I wanted the world's smartest e-reader, I have my iPad. So I don't really need like I'm taking notes on it, I'm tabletifying it, I have all these other things. Give me a way to read my books that is what is it, like an e-ink screen instead of not. And I liked other aspects of the Kobo as well, which we'll get into, like the waterproofing, which again, maybe Kindle has that. This is not a Kobo has so much more than Kindle, you should definitely not buy Kindle kind of thing, even though that's the choice I made, but just kind of wanted to contextualize how I arrived at the Kobo. And then all this culminated to, I had wanted for a while. I've also been doing this new thing where I actually, it's fun to call this new because it makes me sound like I'm a really impulsive shopper, but I've done this new thing where I don't get the thing immediately. So there's a couple things I want to do, and I'm kind of just taking my time to get there. The e-reader was one of them. Another thing I really want to get into at some point is like the God, what are those stupid figures I want from Pop Mart, Isaiah? Peach Riot. I want to get those. Love everything about what I'm seeing. Taking my time, because it's really just another bill and another thing taking up space. Don't need to rush it. Magic the Gathering. We're taking our time, or we got a whole lifetime to get into these hobbies. We don't need to rush out and try to get everything done at once. And I like to let stuff brew a little bit if I can afford to, because then it kind of also reaffirms the decision or whatever. So we went to Best Buy. We looked at them. I was actually set on getting the Libra Color, which is a wider shape. It's a little bit more square than the Kobo Clara Color. Which is more rectangular. And ultimately why I didn't get it, and I also wanted that one because it had stylus functionality. This one you can't use the stylus they sell with it. But when I tried the stylus, I was very underwhelmed. It didn't feel like it worked that well. Could just be the demo mode it had it in. I don't know, but I was just, and then when I also realized that like, well, since this is a touchscreen, I can just drag my finger and highlight if I want to. I'm like, well, I kind of just care about highlighting. Margin notes are kind of a nice perk, but also how big are the margins? You can adjust it, but like when's it going to matter? So for all those reasons, I ended up going with the Kobo Clara Color, which was also convenient because it's significantly cheaper than the Libra Color that I was looking at. It's about $100 cheaper. The Kobo Clara comes in at $160 retail, and the Libra Color comes in at $260 retail. So I got it. We had to do the purchase it at one Best Buy and pick it up at a different one because they didn't have any in stock. And then my life began. Or that's how Isaiah sees it, at least. Isaiah, you were there for this. What's going on with you?
Yeah.
You have your own e-reader saga.
Yeah.
And how does it feel to be on the have-nots, you know?
Well, I have both better than and less than. So it's like I feel like you have a really good sweet spot. So we're a very device-oriented household at this point. I think it's fair to say. I see you get an e-reader. It makes me want an e-reader. I don't want to get the same e-reader you have, not for any particular reason. Just like, I don't know. It's nice to have different things. We have more variability in the house. You know, different functionalities, fill different gaps, yada yada. And then you got your e-reader, and I'm looking over at you, and I'm like, dang, that look kind of cool. I want to read. I got this fucking paper book in front of me, like a fucking pleb over here. Like I want the latest and greatest. We got new reading technology in the house. I want new reading technology in my hands. And you put me on to this little guy, which is I don't know how you found out about this. Maybe it was just like
one of my
media,
followers
TikTok
had replied to me talking about the Kobo, and they said, I use this little thing. What is the name of it that you hold up?
So this is the XTE ink. This is the X3 model. There's an X4, which I think actually just got discontinued. They did the last final batch maybe a few days ago. But then they have the X4 Pro, which has like backlight and yada yada. It's a little bit bigger. So this is the X3. This is the smallest one. The X4 is like a little tiny bit bigger. But the whole premise is that these are sort of like micro e-readers that can just snap on the back of your phone using like MagSafe, or they also come with like little rings if you don't have like an iPhone or a phone that supports MagSafe. So like the whole idea is that like, oh, instead of like taking out your phone and like reading some, scrolling TikTok or whatever, you flip the phone over and you read your book instead. You do something a little bit more productive than just doom scrolling. And I like the concept. I like that idea. I bought it. I was able to get it super fast delivery because again I wanted it. Now I'm seeing you read in bed. I'm like, dang, I gotta turn a light on if I want to read in bed. That's not fair. Now I do still have to turn a light on with this. This does not have a backlight or a front light. It is a non-illuminated e-reader, but it is a just natural e-ink display, which I do like. I do really like it. But then you might have a different story, but I keep seeing you read it around the house. I see you go in the pool. You bring your e-reader because it's waterproof. Yeah. You bring it to the pool. You're out there in your floaty. You're reading your stories, your manga. I see you over here in the living room. You're on the couch. You're reading, and I'm like, damn, we not the same. We might got similar items, but we not the same. And it made me want to get. We could be the same. And I thought, what if we were just the same? What if we just? Why am I playing games here? So you have the Kobo Clara Color. I have my little XTE ink and my iPad mini. So I don't think I necessarily need or want the color. Just because I feel like if I'm reading a manga, if I'm reading comics, correct. Yes. If I'm reading a manga or something like that, I'm more than likely just happy to do that on my iPad. Just because I feel like the iPad is even going to have, higher resolution screen. It's gonna be faster with zooming in and out of like panels.
Oh yeah, the zooming
like
in and out be ass on the that's something that I was.
It is not good. Yeah.
Which let me also just for my own sanity zoom in and because at the store it's always a little different. It's better than it was at the store, but it is still like again for the video version it might be hard to get a sense of it. I don't even know if it went or not. But there's like a level of aliasing and like buffering that kind of happens as you're zooming in. Yeah. And I was really worried about that specifically for manga because like for reading you can also just change the font size. Like if you feel the need to zoom in, that should just be a different font size. But I found that while it is quite default small to have like the manga unzoomed in, it's not that different than what, if I was reading a manga, it'd be about the same. So again, more of like that's something to consider if you have maybe accessibility concerns for being able to read smaller fonts, like maybe like comics and mangas aren't the best on like something like a Kobo because of the like lagginess and the whatever. So just something to be aware of. But I just I'm like, oh, the zoom in's like slow and weird. I just don't zoom in.
Like
that
here,
looks insane. Oh god, that looks so good. The iPad mini.
You could just zoom in. You're good. Like there's, you could zoom, you can pan, you can scroll. It's fast, it's responsive, it's colorful. Like if I'm reading something with color, I think I even glare aside, e-ink, all of that, I'm iPad all the way at this point. That's totally fine. I got no qualms with that. I wanted a device for like reading literature though, like text-based consumption. Which is why I'm even going down this rabbit hole at all.
It's like, damn, that's not literature.
Yeah,
it's like, I get what you mean, though. Like book, novels.
Yeah.
Stuff
so yeah, so I think I am very close to just pulling the trigger and just getting the black and white version of the e-reader you have. It is a little bit cheaper, and
what's the price?
Because you have the price is $140 right now. Normally it's $160. It's there's a $20 sale going on right now at the time of recording for $140. It is the same physical kind of like layout as your same shell, same screen size, battery life, comparable, all that stuff. The biggest differences, I'm not even gonna say issues. The biggest difference is obviously one, it's just black and white. There's no color. So something like mangas, PDF, yada yada, is gonna obviously look better on yours because you have the color there. But I guess arguable pro for the black white, I guess it kind of depends, is because I wouldn't have like another physical layer on my screen for color, my natural brightness would be higher. So like the black and white at 0% brightness, people say it's equivalent to the like 30% brightness on your color.
So can you reword that? Because you're saying so mine is inherently brighter looking?
No, yours is inherently a little more dim.
Oh, okay.
Because you have an extra physical layer on your screen that's used for color.
Okay.
Like a film layer, part of your screen.
Well, you could always, if you wanted to. I don't remember if they had the black and white on display at Best Buy when we went. I don't think. Again,
I'm pretty confident that I can just do the
I want to just let you know. Also, so two things. One, I gotta correct myself before. Mine, which is the color, the Kobo Clara color, is normally $180. I said $160 because I read the sale price. It's currently on sale. Mm-hmm. Same sale. The black and white one is obviously different. There's other models too if you want to look into that. They have like the Ellipsa or the Sage. I don't know anything about those. I was just focused on the ones that I was considering. The only thing I want to advise you on is to be careful because you did just buy you keep trying just to avoid what I have. You want what I have, but then you keep not buying what I have. And it's kind of giving, but one black and white e-reader and then the mini e-reader is the same price as my one Clara color that we could, So that's it. That's all I'm going to say on the matter. I just want you to consider that, is there a chance where you're like, man, I wish mine looked different,
I don't
and I agree with you that I don't get a lot of use of the color either. The color really just comes into play with the book covers. Because even the manga I read, that was in black and white, so that it didn't end up mattering. It'll be fun when there is color. But I haven't felt like... You're like, how do you like the color? And I'm like, there's barely anything that's in color in my current use of it. Yeah.
I like the idea of having color, but I feel like if I wanted color, I would just do my iPad. All of this is to say, if I really just wanted to, I guess, read on a device more, I would just be reusing my iPad more to begin with, right?
So
like I didn't need this little e-ink. I don't need the Clara. That's the thought, right? Is like, or do I just save all the money in total, right? Not buy any new device, and just use my iPad.
You could try it.
There's an argument there.
It doesn't cost you anything to try it, and in trying it, you would actually be because the tea on this is we were talking about what's the episode going to be, what's been going on in our lives, and Isaiah's like, we could talk. But I forgot if me or Isaiah brought up the e-reader stuff, and I was like, yeah, we can talk about reading. I'm like, have you read on yours yet? And he's like, I've been adding a lot of books, and that's the thing. Like Isaiah has been in, and this is something that I fall into a lot that I've like had to train myself to limit. I think there's a lot of fun in the browsing, adding stuff. I think that's a lot of fucking fun on anything, whether it's like I'm putting games on my Steam machine, I'm putting stuff on my Pinterest board. I like the perusing and running your grubby little hands over the digital asset. Like it's fun. You're like planning your future out. But if you only do that, like you're not actually doing the thing, you're just looking. You're looking at a life and not living a life. Now, I think looking has its place because there is function to it. Because I had to do that also when I first got my e-reader. There wasn't even much setup, which was great. It like basically was like, it's ready now. You can link. Again, this is the Kobo specifically, though I'm sure other ones have this. You can link Overdrive to it, which Overdrive is like, it's essentially like Libby kind of thing. Yeah. There was a somewhat recent nerf to how Kobo does their infrastructure where on Libby/Overdrive, which is it's like the way to do digital loans from libraries. You put in your library card, but on like Libby, like classic Libby, you could add several library cards, because you can get library cards for places that you like don't live, places that are maybe just in your area and you got separate cards for. Like we live in Los Angeles, so like I have an LA library card, but I also have like a Burbank library card. So it's like those are two cards I have, and I go to both those libraries. But you can also get ones from like other places, because some of them have, I don't know, it's like chiller to get the cards, or like there's like not really any additional stuff. And people do that so that they can access a wider range of books, because especially if you live somewhere that is just smaller, I would say, as like a baseline, it's not going to have as robust of a library. And I've seen this anecdotally of, you know, when a million years ago we did one of our like library coffee shop dates where you and I went to the library, picked out a bunch of books we were somewhat interested in and checked them all out, and then went to go read the first few pages of like all of them to see like what's our next book that we're going to read going to be. I took out like I had put those books on hold the night before, like in the evening, and the next day they were there, stocked and ready, almost all of them that I wanted available. And I remember posting about that online and people being like, nice. This is insane. Like I would like, this would never happen at my local library. So that's why I point that out. But now they made it so that you can only link one library card. So I just have my LA one. I figured, I don't know if this is right, but I'm like, the LA library system has to be bigger than because Burbank is just little teeny tiny, you know what I mean? So I'm like, I think I would get, again, obviously this is virtual, so it's not like they have to physically house the books, but I just assumed that maybe they'd have more access to different licenses than Burbank might. So I went with LA. I put a bunch of books on hold because I know the holds can take a while. So I said for digital especially. And then I would just let the books kind of roll in. And then I think I did buy one book that was on my, like, I also wishlisted a couple books that were from recommendations from people. So I have the privilege of having a really big social media platform, so I can hop on BlueSKy, ask for anything about anything, and people are going to answer me. Maybe it won't be a lot of answers. Maybe they won't always be like the most useful answers. But I could literally say like, hey, what's the best kind of pizza? And people are going to answer. You know what I mean? Like, so I've done that with books before. Like, hey, I'm looking for book recommendations. Here's what I'm into. So I've been re-hitting that list back up and adding things from people. Obviously with a slight preference to my mutuals because I know them more. So, you know. But yeah, I added a bunch of those to my wish list. And then that was basically it. I bought one book from said wish list because it was on sale for $2.99. So I'm like, okay, that's a pretty good deal down from, I don't know, it was regularly like 10 or 14 or something. And then I've just been doing the library books. So I have 2 out right now. I have Heaven's Design Team Volume 3, which is a manga I started reading a while ago. I have physical 1 and 2. And then this woman's memoir. And those are the two. And then like the woman's memoir is like the more heavy book I'm reading because it's like sort of dark. And then the Heaven's Design Team is like, there's not many times where I feel like, and this is the problem with like, I don't know if you feel this way about reading, Isaiah, but like, I don't feel like I can quickly, casually read in the same way that I can check my phone. And that's why the phone often wins. Because like, if you go to the bathroom and I can just look on BlueSKy or scroll on TikTok and I can watch, 2, 3, 4 videos. I can read a bunch of posts. I can respond to, but like, if you're gone for like 5 minutes, often that 5 minutes doesn't get me through a chapter. So then I feel kind of like, I don't know if I want to like be dipping in and out of this, but Heaven's Design Team, it's just so chill and breezy that I'm like, okay, if I have like less time or I'm in a lighter mood, I can kind of still pop into that and knock out quite a bit. But yeah, that's how it's been going. And it's a combo of, I finished the book I was reading and I have this new toy, which is convenient, that has propelled me into being in a good reading state right now, which has been really, really great. I do think our Min-Max friend Jacob Geller did nail it when he said reading is like that. He forgot what it was called too, but you know when they ride the bicycles in the cage and they have the momentum built up?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Or maybe he was talking about a different sport. That wasn't that. But it was like that kind of thing. He's like, basically you need to build momentum. He's like, when you first start reading and you haven't read in a while, your attention span has been so atrophied that it's just like total shit. I also had the tough thing, which I just got over with time and also with reading in the daytime, sitting up more. There was an era where like reading just put me to sleep. It just made me sleepy. I would fall asleep every time I would try to read. So it took a while to shake that off. But yeah, now like, I don't know how this is going to age, but for right now, reading just feels like something I do. It's like, oh, when I, the other day, like I ended up having work yesterday, but before that, so I got up, we slept in, I was having my coffee, and I was sitting reading my book, and it was awesome.
Yeah, man.
And I believe that world is there for you, Isaiah. It's waiting.
I think so too. I think I'm gonna get it.
You're gonna get. Wait, why? Sorry, to be clear, this was not you should buy a Kobo. This is you should read.
I think I will read. I think my.
Isaiah, you're supposed to be better than me.
I'm not. Who said that? Who said I was supposed to be better than you?
I know you're taller.
Yeah, I feel like the difference in reading. I feel like I'll feel more open to reading, knowing that all of my books are with me at one time. I think it's definitely
put you on blast. You don't even be going outside like that. It's like we're out and you're like, oh no, I could have been reading right now if my book was with me.
No, but I can't read if I don't bring the physical book with me. I can't read if.
But when are we going outside? Like we don't
have my iPad. No, but it's not. It's just about like, we're going on a trip, right? We're going to Japan. We're going to PAX. It's like, all right, I want to be able to have all my stuff. I'm gonna have this long flight with nothing to do.
You could bring the book. It's not that thick.
And then I finish that one book, and then I'm done now. I got nothing else I can do.
So you're gonna do what you want to do. I do think it's fun to buy stuff, and I love watching you buy stuff. It is enjoyable. I think, obviously, I'm biased because towards my own decision, but I did really like I finished my paperback first, and then I get my e-reader. Mm-hmm. Now I will say, in your defense, I was a lot farther in my paperback than you are in yours. I was over 50% done with Chain Gang All-Stars when I was really like, okay, I'm on my vacation, I'm gonna pursue reading and hopefully finishing this book, while you're in the first fourth of the book, I think.
Really first.
So it is a little far to call your shot.
Yeah, it's not very far at all. I'm still very, very in the beginning.
What are you going to do if you get this device and nothing changes, though?
I can't get another device. I'll tell you that.
I think that there should be some fire under the ass. I think you have 1 week to show your work after having a Kobo, and if you fail, you send me $200.
What does that look like? What does having something show for it look like?
Like you've read in your book. I would say probably at least 20 pages.
Oh, yeah. That's easy.
I never said it was hard. Nothing about this is hard to do. A lot of shit I don't do is easy. About this is hard practicing piano is the easiest thing in the world. I need 10-15 minutes. So hard to do. Hard for me to do. It itself is very easy.
Yeah. I'd agree with that. So I either read the book or you become $200 richer. So it's a win-win.
I'm liking this setup. Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna get it. I think I'll get it. Well, I guess I will say Yeah, because I think I found there's one in store near us that has it in stock. So I'll order it for pickup today, and then maybe while we're out doing errands and whatnot.
Can I confess something to you? Not a big part of me, just a little tiny part. Kind of does feel like, man, I'm not special now.
Oh my god!
Because,
what do you mean?
Because okay, check the video version, y'all. Like, I mean, like, look at me, like, ooh, she be reading. It's like, wow, studio's full. Yeah, like, it's funny because I was jealous a little bit of your mini e-reader, where I'm like, damn, do I want one of those? But for me, I just don't want to be split across device, because, like, it's worth pointing out Isaiah's like funky mini e-reader. It's just like a piece of tech that you can load stuff onto. It doesn't have like a store.
Yeah.
At least I don't think it does, right?
No.
And then I heard like the initial UI is like kind of weird. It's a little bit more AYN Thor-y. It's not as complicated as that, but like it just feels a little more involved. I love a dummy thing more than a like, it's fully customizable to me. And guess what? Like, what the second I hear something like open source, I'm like, close the door. Like, I don't know what's going on.
I think what's going to end up happening, my goal is, I'm not going to say what's going to end up, but what my goal is that I'll have devices for different situations, right? So I think my phone, for example, is going to be my everyday carry. I'm always going to have my phone with me, keys, cards, ID, all that. It's just going with me, right? I think in addition to that, I can bring my mini e-reader as like a companion piece to my phone for things like Galaxy games or, any sort of like daily travel thing where all I really can bring easily is just my phone, but I want something else. Boom. I just pop this on the back and now it's with me. Anytime that I'm going to have my little bag, like we're going to, again, a flight, we're traveling, we're doing something like that, that's when iPad and Kobo kind of get paired together and they get thrown in the bag so that at a moment's notice, I have something I can pull out, have a more chill experience of reading, of watching, of doing whatever. And then at home, it's going to kind of just be like, all right, well, whatever's just like nearby, whatever is the most convenient, whatever's charged at the time kind of thing. Most likely leaning towards that iPad Kobo combo.
Okay. We'll see. Yeah, I've just been all in on the Kobo. I also own an iPad. So Isaiah has two iPads. He has like the big boy. I don't know the actual name of the model, and then the iPad Mini.
The Pro.
The Pro. Yeah, I have I don't know what mine is. An iPad.
You have an iPad Pro too. It's just the 11-inch. I have the 13-inch.
Okay. It's cool. It's something that has had eras in my life, but ultimately, I wouldn't say it was a mistake to get, but it just, like, when I got it, I was using it a lot, but now I just don't really use it very much. The most I used it in recent history was when I was using it as like a giant phone dupe kind of thing, but now I've just kind of decided I think I just need more self-control with my phone itself, and then also to acknowledge that like not all screen time is bad. Like I have like, learning apps and things like that on there, or like, things that aren't just doom scrolling. So I'm kind of just like more low key on that aspect. But yeah, Kobo's been great. The charge stays for like forever. I think it lasts like a week or more. And yeah, like you were alluding to the pool stuff. I love the pool.
I think it's even more than that.
Yeah, it might be a little more than a week. It might be closer to 2. It's waterproof within like 6 feet, 30 or 40 minutes or something underwater. So it's like quite waterproof. So yeah, so it's been
60
great.
60 minutes at 2 meters, so 6 feet. 60 minutes at 6 feet.
Yeah. So it's been really chill to like, I can sit in the pool on a floaty and read. If it fell in the water, nothing happens to it. I've dipped it in the water just to test it out and stuff, and it's been fine. Yeah, I'm really loving my aquatic era of life because I have the waterproof headphones as well, so I could really just really take it there with my water time. But yeah, it's just been nice to, whether you go with the Kobo, whether you get some paperback books, whether you buy some books, whether you just use your phone, which is a totally viable option. It's just been nice to kind of have this on my spend time, kill time repertoire, like alongside, things like the Gunpla we started getting into, which I'm sure we'll do a larger Gunpla episode at some point. once we build a couple more little guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just been like a nice, like, when I think of what am I doing today, there's like a wider range of options, and those additional options aren't as techy, even though, again, the e-reader is a piece of tech. So, you know, but the e-ink screen is definitely like a nice switch up from the normal screen I have like on my phone or my iPad. So yeah, it's been really good. I've been reading every day, and it's been just really natural. I think the other thing that's been tough for me with trying to build a habit like this is so much of my life is calendar, schedule, deadline. Like I don't want to make my life outside of that feel that way. And my struggle has been, how do I create consistency without having a regimen? And I don't know. I didn't have a great solution, so I just kind of started doing it. And now it feels chill. Like, I don't feel like I have to read today. I just know that I think I actually might have already read. I already read today. So it's just something. I'm just a reader now, Isaiah. And I have my beautiful wings emerging from my cocoon, and you're just stuck there in the fucking, what's it called, the chrysanthemum or whatever? Is that what it is?
Cocoon?
Yeah, but are they called chrysanthemum when they're like that? Am I making this word up? Chrysanthemum.
That's a good question.
Bitch, chrysanthemum's like a flower. What am I thinking of? Name for cocoon.
Chrysalis.
Chrysalis, thank you.
I think is what you're looking at.
Yeah, a fucking chrysanthemum's a flower. You're fucking chrysalis. Chrysanthemum sounded better than chrysalis. I'm not gonna lie to you.
It does.
Yeah. We just say and you're a fucking chrysalis, rotting, leg all twisted. Anyway, so good luck, Isaiah. We're all rooting for you, because at the end of the year,
it doesn't feel like everyone's rooting for me. It actually feels like someone on the call is very much not rooting for me.
I am rooting for you. I just feel like you just need to do it, and you're like, okay, but like, how am I going to do it? I'm like, I think you just got to do it. And you're like, it's a mystery. It's a puzzle. And I'm like, I think you just simply have to do it. And you're like, how do I fucking crack this code? That's more my thing. Not like, of course I've been wanting both of us to read for forever, and we've just not been historically great at it. So yeah, but we're getting it together, and we're feeling the inspo off the lock in and leave it. So, you know, are you locking, Isaiah, or are you leaving?
I'm locking. I know we talked about it in the last episode. I'm trying to lock in. I'm trying to get better. That's a really good question, actually, we could bring up maybe as a part of poll of the show. The whole idea with a lot of this was like reducing screen time, right? Being a little bit better about time spent, what you're doing, blah blah blah.
The iconic group chat question.
I think we'll bring to the people in polls of the show is using an e-ink display reader, should that still be considered screen time? We'll revisit it in literally like 2 seconds. But yes. You know, that's I think something
we'll comment on our
looking
thoughts
to bring
after when we see y'all's responses, so as to not influence the poll. But yes, it was a big topic of discussion across our group chats on how that fit in.
Mm-hmm.
And that brings us to poll of the show. Last week we asked what was the last game you were excited to play that let you down, and how your resolutions were going. Isaiah, what did the people have to say?
We got some funny answers. For game that you were excited to play but let you down, surprisingly, which I kind of agree with, 1,000 Times Resist. I feel like that's a standout submission that someone wrote in with. You know, it was built up. It was a lot of hype. I watched you play it, and I was like, I don't get this. Now it's not for me though.
Yeah, it's a little it's a bit artsy, fartsy. I think it is a good game, but maybe a bit I don't know. It's tough to say it's overhyped though, because it is quite good, but it is denser, and this is not to discount y'all being disappointed by it, but it's a bit denser than a lot of other iconic story games. So it's less like immediately brilliant. So I do think it's like, I don't know, man, some artsy shit. I don't really like walking around. I'm getting lost navigationally. And then you kind of miss some of the juicier juice. because you sort of need all the pieces to make it hit.
Juicier juice.
Yeah. A standout for me on this list is 007 First Light. So it looked really exciting, but
surprised to
very
see
quickly
that.
lost excitement to play it.
I was a little surprised to see that. I thought that was I feel like it seems like a very inoffensive game. So like
Yeah.
I'm surprised it would let someone down from how it was marketed. But also I guess they did market it as like a very like, you're not going to believe how we reinvent the 007 formula. You know what I mean? Like it,
Yeah,
I could
it's
see them
very
hype
critically
it being
acclaimed
too
as
built
well.
up. Yeah.
Planalana 2, another standout here. We're talking about puzzle games. Just because it's like, hey, we talked a lot about that as one of our genre indicators.
Yeah. Crimson Desert, another one. I haven't played it yet. I do want to get it at some point. It's in my wish list. It'll go on sale at some point. And I'll boot it up then. But I am going in now, I guess, with tapered expectations. So maybe it won't fall maybe I won't fall prey to the tempered. What did I say?
Tapered.
I thought I said tempered. All right. Well,
Kind
tempered expectations.
Kind of a chrysanthemum chrysalis situation.
Maybe it'll be fine for me by the time I get to it.
Yeah. Then we had A3 was Dead on Arrival, said SMH. Also, Hell Let Loose or any of those two tactical shooters. Way too realistic. We had Asphalt Extreme, which is a racing game. And then we also had, this one I'm not familiar with at all, MAZM, The Phantom of the Opera.
Masm?
Yeah,
I don't know. I thought at first that was like an acronym, but no, it's I think just MAZM, like MAZM, The Phantom of the Opera.
Which on that note, really sucks to be disappointed in that because it sounds like you were like in the thick of it. You know what I mean? Like I didn't even know what this game was. So
yeah,
I gotta look this up now.
One for me. Thinking about
Mobile
it now,
game.
that Koira game.
It does look cool. Damn.
Yeah.
You said Koira?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was going to be really cool, and it ended up being not very cool. But it did get me points on Fantasy Critic.
Yeah. And then you try to say, oh, that's not that bad. I'll go and finish it. I really didn't like Koira. For me, God, VVVVV, whatever. You know, I think that's what spurred it, of course.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, I cooled on Galley House, but I was really disappointed because I was more surprised I even liked it to begin with. So, yeah, maybe Don't Let It Starve was my not just last episode disappointment. Of like the demo seemed cool from one of my colleagues, and then both of us were kind of like, didn't quite hit as much when we did the full thing.
Yeah. Hominins Not Games. How are your New Year resolutions going, if you made any? Surprisingly, I feel like as a whole, is the open forum field. As a whole, I think a lot of people are pretty good. We have someone saying completed 7 of my 12 goals for the year. I have 4 lock-ins and 1 leave it remaining.
Wow.
That's pretty good. That's like, you know, for being 7-8 months out of the year done, you're 7 out of 12 goals for the year. That's on par. That's totally on pace. Someone else said, I made a resolution to read every day, and that's going super well.
Yay. Fellow reader.
I see you wrote in with your burner. Yeah. But then we also got some that are saying like a mixed bag, generally down, but I'm a second half of the year kind of guy. Which, you know, that's why we do the check-in.
Same.
You know, that's why we get back on the horse. That's why we say like, hey, like, what am I really locking in for, and what am I leaving? You know,
I always do really well the second half of the year because I do so badly the first half. It's one of my many hacks.
That's the Michael Scott. They work
does the
really
movie
hard.
make them work faster? They have to move more quickly to make up for the time they lost watching the movie.
Exactly. And someone else, which I feel this. Definitely like thinking back to how I used to be. I take up and drop resolutions randomly throughout the year. But currently doing pretty well on watching at least 1 episode of an anime a day to get through the series. I keep bookmarking to watch later. That is what I'm planning on doing with my book. So, you know, my goal is going to be to do a chapter a day. We'll see. I feel like depending on how long the chapters are, it's totally something I can do. Get my little 5-minute reader in, you know. Well, I'm going to find out. We're going to come back next week. with data, with facts.
And I will have my $200. which I've already spent, so I really hope I get it. No, I'm just kidding. Also someone saying that they were cutting down the bulk until they got sick a month ago, so now they're kind of just doing fine with the resolutions. Very much relates to that. Illness and travel are two of the biggest killers for our momentum for anything here at the Gangcast. So we see you and we salute you. For anything else you'd like to add? Someone did a gang. Fun.
Someone did the gang. It's pretty dope.
We have more like lock in or leave it alone. Am I right? Very cute. Very cute. And then talking about the value of dropping things. He said, dropping things is something I preach but rarely practice. It's easier with media that doesn't have a dopamine drip like reading. If a book is a slog, it's way easier to drop than a roguelike, which messes with the chemicals in my brain every 15 minutes. That is funny.
Honestly, that's fair.
Yeah. And I think it's interesting. You know, we can do a whole thing on this later. Again, hopefully we do get in the good reading zone, and then we can do more reading content, including like when and how you drop books, because that's a big part of that community as well. But the thing I was going to say was, it's interesting with a book, because I think the other reason it's easier to drop is the book is just the story. So it's like, if you don't like the story and how, like, you know, whether it's like something about the characters, how it's written, there's not really anything that can redeem it, because it is just, that's like all it is. It's like kind of more bare bones. While like a game, you could not like how long the game is, but have like the mechanics. So there's like a lot of different variables that go into like what makes a game that you like versus isn't, or whatever. So it gets kind of can get kind of crazy on that front. But Isaiah, what are we asking the people this week?
This week, we're going to be asking people to give us a puzzle game along with your categorization of it. And we can see where it falls in our new breakdown of puzzle genres, puzzle bucketing, if you will. As well as, should an e-ink e-reader display be considered screen time? If I was to say I want to cut back on my screen time, if I pick up my e-reader and read now instead of doom scrolling or going on social media or YouTube or Crunchyroll or sorry. Instead of using my other devices, if I pick up my e-reader, should that still be considered screen time or not? Let us know. We'll have another slot for you to give greater explanation, but it's going to be a yes or no question, believe.
All right. And that is it for this week. You can send us your questions and topics to the email inbox at GamesAndNotGames.com. You can follow the podcast version of the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Pocket Casts, and everywhere else you get your podcast. If you enjoy the show, be sure to give us that 5-star rating.
5 stars.
Cinco diamantes.
And if you're an audio listener, remember that you can get the video version over on YouTube at GamesAndNotGames. If you like the video, be sure to give us a like and leave a comment, as it helps us get the show in front of more people. You could also give us a follow over on social media. We're pretty much everywhere at GamesAndNotGames, but mainly BlueSKy, TikTok, Twitch, and Backloggd. Maybe soon, Storygraph? Who knows?
Until
next time, gang.
Gang.
Peace.